a lot of talent. They just don't have a lot of talent. They'll play tough defense. They'll play hard. But offensively, it doesn't look like it's working. Now, we may get a turnaround today, but if we don't, and the Patriots lose again at home to a team like the Saints, this could be the year when really the wheels come off.
Well, it could be. The Patriots have a way of finding a way. So I'm interested to see how this game goes against the Saints this morning on the West Coast, early afternoon on the East Coast. The other problems for the Patriots is they're replacing two defensive starters in Matthew Judon, who tore his biceps, and Christian Gonzalez is out with a shoulder, who was a standout as a rookie at corner. Now, they traded for J.C. Jackson this week from the Chargers. They get him back into the fold. He knows the Belichick defense. Not a lot has changed since he's left. He'll be able to be caught up to speed and play for this defense immediately. But there are so many problems with New England. And one of the more interesting revelations that's occurred is their self-inflicted problems. Mac Jones made a lot of mistakes. The offense made a lot of mistakes with the football last week. It's atypical to see a Patriots team hurt themselves. Usually they're waiting for the team they're facing to make the mistakes, and that was not the case.
So the teams that had the top two picks in the draft this year, the Panthers and the Texans, took quarterbacks. Right now, Bryce Young and the Panthers are 0-4. They're the only winless team left in the NFL. Meanwhile, the Houston Texans with C.J. Stroud are 2-2. Stroud has looked outstanding, and he is getting better every single week. Anthony Richardson has looked promising for the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if you're Carolina right now, any buyer's remorse. And remember, Carolina traded away their number one pick next year. That's going to the Bears. So if Carolina were to bottom out and end up with the number one pick in the draft, they don't have that pick. That belongs to the Chicago Bears. But do you think, and it's awfully early, and I'm a Bryce Young fan. I don't want to condemn the guy, but as good as C.J. Stroud has looked so far, any buyer's remorse for the Panthers?
Of course. Of course. When you look at Anthony Richardson and how dynamic he's been with that Indianapolis Colts offense, and by the way, Shane Steichen is off the Frank Reich coaching tree. This is something, what you're seeing in Indianapolis is something that Frank Reich could have done with an Anthony Richardson if he were still in Indianapolis. Now, I don't know if they necessarily draft the same player. Maybe they still get Bryce Young if he's still available at the fourth overall position if he were still in Indianapolis. But I'm sure he's sitting there thinking to himself like, geez, well, we could have had him.
Well, they could have had C.J. Stroud. I mean, I like Anthony Richardson a lot, but I'm watching C.J. Stroud.
Well, and
he looks like an NFL frontline quarterback right now.
Well, so does Anthony Richardson. I'll tell you why. Because no moment's too big for him yet. Now, I understand
his completion rate, though, isn't at the level quite yet.
No, it's not, and there's good reason for that. However, I will say this, for all the reasons I would make for Anthony Richardson, having a lower completion percentage, I could make for C.J. Stroud, too. He's playing behind an anonymous offensive line. They've had injuries up front. Nobody knows who the starters are going to be week to week, and he's still shined through it all. The Houston Texans, for anybody out there doing the advanced math, they're a very, very poor roster. Like, that's not a roster where you give it to a rookie quarterback and you say, hey, go win with these guys. They should be 0-4. They're not. And it's all because of C.J. Stroud, in my opinion.
All right, so speaking of C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans, they're the first ones on the board. They got a field goal after a 3-and-out by the Falcons, so the Houston Texans take an early 3-0 lead. Now, if you've not been part of Fox Sports Red Zone Radio, this is how it operates. Rich and I, along with our amazing cast with Chris and Bo and Monty, we just keep you up to date, all the scores, all the stats, everything else. So if you're playing your fantasy football, if you're not at the games or you're not watching the games, you need to be with us every single Sunday. So on the other side, we'll get you set with all the other games. Very busy week 5 in the NFL. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Let's go, play! Let's go! Before kickoff.
There's a lot on the line today.
In the red zone.
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio on a Fox Football Sunday.
And in the locker room.
Down 14 points in their fourth quarter, but nobody's playing. Stuck together.
Your NFL Sundays start and end here on Fox Sports Radio.
Oh, that's hard.
Kick off the football action with BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Place your money line prop, parlay, and same-game parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices.
BetMGM.com for T's and C's. 21 plus to wager. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Missouri, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa, 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help in Michigan, in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Yo, J Balvin here. Verizon just hooked me up with a new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium. How can you get one? By switching to my plan at your Verizon store, get the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro on them. When you trade in any iPhone, any model, any condition, guaranteed. And listen to my new song, Dientes, on your way to get the new iPhone 15 Pro.
Don't miss out. Switch to my plan from Verizon today. It's your Verizon. $999.99, 128 GB only. Device payment purchase or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in or promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR.
This new Wendy's Frosty flavor is way too exciting to keep under wraps. It's a brand new, first-of-its-kind flavor. Get this. Pumpkin spice. I know, right? It's so good. It's rich, it's cozy. It's the perfect flavor for some fall Frosty time. Watch, everyone will see it and jump on the bandwagon. Grab a never-before-seen Pumpkin Spice Frosty or Pumpkin Spice Frosty Cream Cold Brew today when you choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Vanilla Frosty is temporarily unavailable.
Fellow Americans, Noble Gold Investments is here to democratize your dollars. Imagine your wealth as a treasure chest in a world full of paper money that's as unstable as a house of cards. Noble Gold Investments offers you the solid gold and silver keys to that chest. Don't just take it from me. Lillian P. said, Ben guided me flawlessly from purchase to receipt, and Ronald, a retired CPA, has been totally satisfied since 2019. Noble Gold Investments isn't just a company. It's your financial guardian for life. It stands for integrity, efficiency, and the American way. And this month, with any qualifying precious metals IRA, you'll receive a free 5-ounce solid silver America the Beautiful bullion coin. Did we mention free? Noble Gold Investments is here to help you if you want to invest in gold or silver. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now. Noblegoldinvestments.com. The only gold company you should trust. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hey guys, ready? Jason Smith and Mike Harmon are dropping knowledge like this.
Baker Mayfield has been one of the two biggest surprises in the NFL this season because he has been good. He's been accurate, and that's the number one thing. And here's Tampa in a bad division. You think, okay, their defense is pretty good, and maybe they can make a run here and they can win this division. But Mayfield has been accurate, and that's the number one thing, right? Number one thing for him is being able to spread the ball around and hit his receivers. But more importantly, and sometimes this doesn't get looked at as being as important as it is that he is out of the spotlight. And that's a huge thing for Baker Mayfield. Since he came into the league, number one draft pick, he has been someone who says, I'm going to come in as a number one draft pick, and yeah, I got swagger. A lot of guys come in as a number one pick in quarterbacks, and they understand, okay, I can't really come in here and just say I'm going to take over the league because I have a lot to learn, and I don't want to make myself a target, and that's generally not how it's done. It's not how you win friends in the locker room. It's not how you win friends that want to play behind you. But he has come in and was never shy right away with voicing his concern about things, getting involved in other players' contract situations. He didn't play very well. He had a couple of points where you thought maybe he would turn it around, but he did not. And he wound up getting let go by the Browns before he even finished his contract as the number one overall pick. He goes to Carolina, and he tries to jump in and learn the playbook way too early. They go to him as a savior, and he's terrible. And here he is on the Tampa Bay Bucs now trying to hold off Kyle Trask in the preseason. And look at what he's done, because now we don't care about Baker Mayfield, right? We talked about Baker Mayfield a lot. He was in the spotlight
To get the rest of what Jason Smith and Mike Harmon said, podcast it by searching The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. And as always, you can hear The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. Ben Maller, the big dog.
I am the greatest effing clown.
Ben Maller, the man with all the answers.
And anyone who says otherwise is an absolute idiot.
Ben Maller, the After Hours Specialist.
This is the definition of stepping into it.
It's the Ben Maller Show.
So I've got Three Stooges, Alanis Morissette, and Jersey Mike.
It's like weeknights at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Kaboom! Dan Patrick.
Complete awesomeness.
The man we turn to when life hits the fan.
I'll take that. Yeah.
He doesn't ask for anything in return.
Give me some dab. Yeah.
He just wants to talk about sports.
Oh, LeBron.
Because Dan Patrick lives and breathes sports. Dan Patrick is sports.
Wow, that seems a little extreme.
And other things.
Shut up.
It's the Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Did you know that we have original podcasts too? Check out Unbreakable with Jay Glazer.
Welcome to Unbreakable, a mental health podcast.
Or Inside the Parker with Rob Parker for you threadheads.
Baseball.
The I Want Your Flex podcast with Dan Beyer and Mike Harmon for fantasy junkies. And what about everything Up on Game presents offers? Want more Ben Maller? How about the Fifth Hour podcast? We have a podcast for everyone. And it's all on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Under center. They run it again with ETN. He bursts out of there. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Travis Etienne! That'll put a nail in this thing! Etienne scores! How good is that?
That's the Jaguars Radio Network as Jacksonville comes up with a win in London today against the Buffalo Bills by a score of 25-20. Steve Harvey, Rich Orenberger. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. We are here live from the TireRack.com studios, and while we've been away, we've had some scoring done. The Dolphins are on the board first with the early 7-0 lead against the hapless New York Giants. A touchdown pass from Tua Tagovailoa to Jalen Waddle. So the Dolphins are off and running. The Giants are bad. So are the Panthers. They're down 7-0 already to the Lions.
But the crazy thing about the Giants is the Giants could get better if Saquon gets healthy. I don't really see a way out of it for the Carolina Panthers this season.
Well, the Carolina Panthers, and again, imagine what would happen if this really just bottoms out for Carolina. You don't even have your first round pick.
Yeah.
So that is bad. And the Falcons now have taken a 7-3 lead over the Texans. Chris, our resident Lions fan, looked like, what was it, Montgomery on the run there?
Yeah, David Montgomery.
Yards.
3 plays, 81-yard drive, and Pete Jamison Williams, his first game back, his highlight isn't a catch on that drive, but it's setting up a monster run block for Montgomery to get that touchdown.
All right, 42-yard touchdown run for him. Meanwhile, the Atlanta score was a Desmond Ridder run of 7 yards, so they lead the Texans by a score of 7-3. Yeah, we have a limited. We had 9 games each of the last couple of weeks. In the morning, we only have 6 today. Some of the afternoon games, we got the Eagles, Rams, Bengals, Cardinals, Jets, Broncos, Chiefs, Vikings. There's some interesting games we got to talk about a little bit later on. Sunday night game, of course, is the doozy, the Cowboys against the 49ers. I think it's going to be a long day for the Cowboys. And then, of course, the Monday night matchup will be the Packers and the Raiders. But just talking about some of the games going on right now, the Titans and the Colts. Ryan Tannehill has been, awful until last week. And he's off to a good start today, 5 of 6 passing, 54 yards. Derrick Henry's usual slow start, 2 carries for 3 yards. Of course, Anthony Richardson on the other side for Indianapolis. My concern with Richardson, and I voiced this, a couple of times over the last few weeks, Rich, is that you're just leaning too much on a rookie to do everything. I mean, to carry, obviously, the passing game of the running game as well. Zach Moss, they got to get people involved. And, of course, the big story there is that they have got Jonathan Taylor back in the fold.
And they're going to ease him in. They're not going to rush it. He's probably going to get, my guess is, 10 touches in the passing game and the running game today for the Colts. I doubt he'll be out there very often in the first quarter. You want to get him to see some action, but you don't want to risk injury. He is not in game shape. He's probably not going to be in game shape until halfway through the season because he's missed so much time. There's nothing you can do to replicate the physicality of an NFL Sunday or Monday night or Thursday night. It's just a different animal. It's so different from your training. But yeah, that's going to take some of the load off. That's going to take some of the pressure off. And by the way, when they drafted Anthony Richardson, what they were thinking was, well, of course we're going to use him as a dual threat out of this backfield. He's a great rusher. He's an insane athlete. But we'll have Jonathan Taylor, and it'll be a two-headed monster out of the backfield. Meanwhile, he's had to carry the load so far.
I love this. Jim Irsay saying after they get the deal done, what, $14 million a year for Jonathan Taylor, well, he deserved it. Well, if he deserved it, well, what was the holdup here? I mean, he ends up actually getting pretty much what he wanted out of the deal. Owners are like, oh, yeah, he deserved it. Well, if he deserved it, you could have signed that deal months ago.
What happened here, I think, is environmental pressure from the experience the fans were having watching Anthony Richardson, the experience the coaches are having coaching Anthony Richardson, the fact that you look around the AFC South and it is wide open. It is wide open. So the Colts have a real shot here. Now, does this deal get done if they start off 0-4? I don't think so. I really don't. But the fact that the Colts have shown a great deal of life, the fact that the Colts are one of those teams at 2-2 who's a burgeoning success story, you add a Jonathan Taylor, he stays healthy this season, look out for Indianapolis.
All right, the Ravens are on the board first on the road against the Steelers. Justice Hill, a 14-yard run. Lamar Jackson, just 3 of 7 passing, 34 yards, but he has one run for 26 yards. I look at this game between the Ravens and the Steelers, and even though they're already down 7-0, this is a Mike Tomlin special.
Yeah, you think that this is the game where everybody goes, maybe we didn't have it right on the Steelers.
I mean, the Steelers have not played well this year.
No.
I mean, Kenny Pickett has not looked good,
No.
but they're still 2-2. Like you almost feel like the Steelers should be like 1-3, maybe 0-4. No, they're 2-2. This is the Mike Tomlin way. About 4.5 point dogs at home against a division rival like the Ravens. I don't know. And I know the Ravens are 2-0 on the road. Everything says Ravens win this game.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of game where Mike Tomlin walks off the field and shakes John Harbaugh's hand, and Harbaugh looks like at him saying, How did you guys win this game?
Well, here's what I will say. Quietly now, Lamar Jackson is having his best season. He really is.
He's having a good year, no question. He just got to stay healthy.
If you look at his stats, he's completing damn near 75% of his passes. He's closing in on 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns through the air, only 1 pick, 4 touchdowns on the ground, tag along another 220 rushing. He is arguably the most productive player in the NFL. And he's been healthy. So, yeah, Ravens fans around the country right now are knocking on their heads going, please don't get banged up, because if he stays healthy, whoa, we got an interception in this Carolina Panthers Detroit Lions game. I believe that was Aiden Hutchinson with the grab on the screen pass. Bryce Young just looking for anybody in that mess of light blue jerseys. And Hutchinson comes up with it. Wow. It goes from bad to worse.
Well, again, when you watch Bryce Young, who is in stature the smallest quarterback in this league, height-wise, and
there's no excuse for that.
I mean,
that has nothing to do with his height.
It doesn't. I mean, he threw it right to Hutchinson. I'm not sure where this was intended.
It was supposed to be a tight end screen. You see number 80?
That's a pretty good grab with one hand by a defensive end.
Look, Aiden Hutchinson has a wingspan like a California condor.
Unreal.
And he's an insane athlete, but still, man, Bryce Young, you got to be careful. Throw it
Hutchinson, I think, had like 2 interceptions last year, too.
Yeah.
He's good at that.
Well, yeah, all these guys, these athletes, the Nick Bosa's, the TJ Watts, the Aaron Donalds, we've been talking about these elite pass rushers for years. He is elite. Not enough people are talking about him. Not enough people are talking about Max Crosby with the Raiders because they've kind of stunk.
Well, and
but
again,
these guys are elite.
Absolutely. And the thing about Hutchinson is he doesn't have a whole lot of help. Certainly not a year ago. And as the Lions, I'm sure, try to bolster that defensive front, it's only going to make him better. So the Lions already leading the Panthers 7-0, are already deep into Carolina territory. So the Lions could make short work of a Carolina Panthers team that remains alone winless. Look, Frank Reich is someone that you and I have known for a long, long time. I like him on a personal level. I wasn't wild about this hire by the Panthers.
I was.
We have a Mac Jones pick 6.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! No!
Richie,
not the start he wanted.
Richie. I know, Richie. I know that you're. I'm not going to say an apologist, but you believe in Bill Belichick. You believe in this Patriots team, and you were insisting that now that they have a legit offensive coordinator and Bill O'Brien, things would look much different this year. They haven't, and the worst part for the Patriots. Every week seems to be getting worse. Well, actually, when you look back at their opening game, Mac Jones okay, maybe he'll be back. Mm-hmm. Each week it's getting worse.
Mac Jones has gotten worse.
Yeah.
If you
he's 0 for 4 in this game with an interception to pick 6.
Watch these games, you know what I mean? Actually watch these games, and he does some really good things. There have been some bright spots, but if you look at his start this year versus how he played in his rookie year in 2021 and last year even with a defensive coordinator as his offensive coordinator, he's looked worse so far this season. He's trending in the wrong direction. So,
well, how long are you going to stay with him? Again, he's 0 for 4 to start this game with a pick 6. Is Zappe going to come in?
It's possible. He got benched last week. It's possible. Look, they
can't lose this game.
There's a lot of things. No, I agree with you. If they go into a 1 and what would it be 4
1-4 and 0-3 at home.
Yeah, if that happens, all of a sudden, and you're already seeing it, we have a touchdown. Detroit Lions.
Yeah,
Laporta, the tight end, the draft pick. This is the other thing about Dan Campbell's team. Young players, he's getting production out of them immediately. You're seeing it in the run game and the receiving game with Gibbs. You're seeing it with Sam Laporta. This is an easy pitch and catch for Jared Goff and Laporta, but he's done some great things already. He's a young guy in this league. He looks like he's going to be good for a while. 13-0 lead, Detroit over Carolina.
Goff 4 for 4, 45 yards and a score. That's his numbers so far. We're an extra point away from a 14-0 Lions lead. All right, let's find out what is trending right now.
Yeah.
For award-winning show from yesterday. And we were talking about this, Monty, that we have a little bit of a breather today. There's a big difference between 9 games and 6 games.
Did you not just see me enjoying breakfast?
Yeah, I saw
it was
that.
only 6 games. Yeah.
Normally that opening bell, it's the little frantic look. But you're calm today.
I'm chilling. Watching. I've got 6 games that I can actually keep an eye on. Mm-hmm. No, easy. This is easy peasy, fellas. Exactly. Laporta, guys, man, I have him in 2 of my fantasy leagues. I'm so excited about it.
He's a player.
He is so consistently every week has been good for the Lions. They're beating the Panthers 14-0, less than 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Falcons up on the Texans thanks to Desmond Ridder with a 7-yard rushing touchdown, but the Texans have scored a field goal, so it's 7-3 late in the first. The Colts, it looks like they just had a rushing touchdown, extra point good, so now they're beating the Titans 7-3. 40 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Let me just interject. Zach Moss, 56-yard touchdown run.
Nice.
That's a huge run for the Colts.
That is a huge run. He has 3 carries, 67 yards, and a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that.
I'll tell you what, he just saw Jonathan Taylor's contract. Yeah. He's like, me too. Me too.
Right. Me too. It's exactly what he's saying. Totally. Jalen Waddle in the end zone for the Dolphins puts them up against the Giants 7-0. They're about to start the second quarter. We just talked about that pick 6 against Mac Jones. No bueno, fellas. It just does not look good for the Patriots. 7-0. Saints up halfway through the first. And the Ravens, Justice Hill, 14-yard rushing touchdown. They're beating the Steelers 7-0, 5 minutes to go in the first. Later today, the Chiefs are going to play the Vikings. And apparently, there are some billboards in Minneapolis.
Oh, dear.
One billboard says, "Welcome, Mr. Pfizer. and it's like a blue jersey. It says Mr. Pfizer.
Well,
87.
she's not there in Minneapolis. No way.
I mean,
we don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
We haven't had confirmation from any of the Swifties.
She was at home. I get it. She went to New York. I get it.
I mean,
she's no way that Taylor Swift is hanging. What, she's going to go to every game?
I
Does
mean,
she have no life?
She's on a break.
No, it's a booth. It's her bye week.
It's her bye week.
Week 5 is, everybody knows that. Week 5 is Taylor Swift's bye week.
Exactly. And the other billboard says, beat Taylor's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
From a radio station 107.1 My Talk. Beat Taylor's boyfriend.
Okay.
I mean, they're into it, though.
Okay, let me give you a stat about the Chiefs. By the way, I'm picking the Vikings today to beat the Chiefs.
Wow.
And the reason I am is their quarterback is 16th in the league in passer rating. Patrick Mahomes has a worse passer rating than Justin Fields and Baker Mayfield. Their offense is not right.
No, it's not clicking.
And they easily could have lost to the Jets last week. The Vikings need a win desperately. They're 1-3. I think the Chiefs are a little bit distracted right now. And again, Patrick Mahomes, 16th in the league in passer rating, the best quarterback in the league. Something is amiss. All right, Monsi.
All right, fellas.
Go back to breakfast. Have a
Yeah,
little
no,
bit.
I inhaled it. What are you talking about?
All right, once again, we are brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection, one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. I like the fact that NBC was very honest about, really hyping up the Taylor Swift situation in the game against the Jets. The problem is that you come off rooting for the Chiefs, right? Because you showed her 17 times during that telecast, and she's obviously rooting for the Chiefs. So you end up by publicizing her presence at the game as a promo that let's root for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That is not a good look.
Okay, listen. If you dig into the numbers and you look at how much money Taylor Swift is worth for any network to air her when she attends games.
Yes.
2 million more subscribers on Sunday Night Football on all
Huge
of their
numbers.
streams. They smashed Sunday Night Football records in terms of viewing and ratings over the course of their telecast. It peaked at damn near 30 million people watching at one point. I mean, Taylor Swift is an economy. In fact, so much so that Taylor Swift, in terms of how much money she makes while she's touring around the United States and the world, she makes more money than most countries in the world.
Right.
She is an economy.
Okay,
And
so where do you go from here? All right, so I get it. It was Sunday Night Football. It was the Jets, the whole shebang. It was also a really good game. But where are you going next with this?
Well, I mean, you're just going to see more of it. Look, if this is truly a coupling, if they're romantic and interested in each other, she's going to be at a lot more games. And I promise you, as much it'll nauseate certain fans, you're going to see a lot of her because, again, it's big bucks. I kid you not. I'm friends with a lesbian couple who couldn't care less about football. I mean, they could not care less about football. And one of the two asked the other, hey, where's the Taylor Swift game? Is that had no idea if it was on, just guessed right. And they turned it on. They watched an entire half of football. I don't think they've ever watched football before. It's just every demographic, the widest swath of people from every corner of the United States. Swifties are coming out and they're watching the Taylor Swift game is it's being discussed.
Isn't this a sad commentary on a league that prides itself to dominate the scene? That in order to actually get their game to the next level, they have to make Taylor Swift center stage?
My 60-year-old neighbor, who was like a grandma to my children, who moved to Texas. I mean, actually, she's older than that now. She's 62. She doesn't really like football. Her husband loves football. She actually was annoyed that she wanted to tune in to watch the Jets game. So she didn't ask her husband. She asked me when it was coming on. She texted me. Look, I get it. Yes, the NFL prides itself as a family product. They're doing the thing on Disney Plus. They're doing the things on Nickelodeon. They're trying to get the kids involved. Flag football. It's both genders, little girls and little boys. They're playing flag football across the country. Like they are really trying to reach out into different and newer demographics. So this monster just keeps gaining ground. But you cannot, for a second, you cannot deny the opportunity that presents itself for the NFL if Taylor Swift is going to attend games. They're going to put the camera on her 10 times a game because guess what? Every single wife, girlfriend, or frankly, guy who's more interested in Taylor Swift than they are in football are going to tune in to watch her in the suite. It's happening. Steve, the numbers are
Not every
reflective.
NFL fan is enamored with Taylor Swift.
You're missing the point. Not NFL fans. Taylor Swift fans. It has nothing to do with the NFL.
Can I get Monsi's mic on? Because obviously she is our Swiftie here, big time. So because I had this conversation from the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
What's in this for Taylor Swift?
Nothing. I mean,
does she gain anything
please,
with her association with the NFL?
I don't think she's getting new fans.
Okay.
I don't think that.
Hang on though. Check this out. So the same way you have non-football watchers going, where's the Taylor Swift game? All of a sudden, when daughter or granddaughter or niece or girlfriend says, hey, I want to go to the Taylor Swift concert. All of a sudden, just the awareness of Taylor Swift, that becomes an easier putt for a lot of people who are spending insane amounts of money on concert tickets because there's awareness.
Yeah, but does it go beyond just, seeing her like that? Are you suddenly going to take Swiftie fans who've never followed the NFL are going to suddenly become NFL fans because she follows a player?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is happening.
So if she tells her followers, you need to be NFL fans because I am now an NFL fan.
No, she's not going to do that. They're going to do it on their own.
I do believe there are some people being introduced to Taylor Swift for the first time. I'm not going to name names around here at the studio, but at least one host here has heard the songs before but didn't know the name Taylor Swift.
I think that's very small. I disagree that there's more awareness. Everybody knows who Taylor Swift is. Everybody.
But that's true. And
you know what I'm saying?
I'm not.
But sports are kind of like an insular culture. You're I think a lot of people get into sports to not be subjected to entertainment tonight.
Okay, so this is like sports feel ubiquitous to sports fans. Like everybody's talking about it, everybody watches sports. But guess what? There are people outside the niche. Same with Taylor Swift. She seems all encompassing. Like everybody knows Taylor Swift, but guess what? There are people outside the ring. I was one of them. I can't tell you how many songs that I am now aware belong to her that I didn't I literally just said one of her songs, "You Belong to Me," like the whole thing. I'm actually more entrenched in this than I thought I was because of the fact that she's now relevant to football.
So I think you're an exception, and I think most men, like let's say, they're like, I never heard a Taylor Swift song, and they put one on and they hear it, okay, great, and I think that's as far as it goes. Like they're not becoming fans.
But again, hang on, check this out. They're sitting next. Again, this is the point. They're sitting next to their niece or their granddaughter or their daughter or their wife or their girlfriend or their fiance, and they see the excitement. Taylor Swift comes to town. They're buying the tickets. Like they're saying, oh yeah, like that's her girl. Like she was into it the whole thing. That's my point is.
I think they were always buying the tickets. That's what I think.
I think it's
everything was sold out already.
No, you're looking at this from the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm looking at it from the opposite. We're looking at it from opposing sides of it.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna say this. The overwhelming majority of people listening to this show are listening for scores and stats.
Yes.
That's why they listen
to
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. We aren't giving you any visuals of Taylor Swift on this show. All right. So all you're listening for are scores and stats. By the way, the Patriots just missed a field goal, 48-yarder.
Nice.
So there you go. At home, you get a makeable field goal, hooked it. And that is that. So, all right. Coming up on the other side, we'll continue on. We got 6 games going on around the National Football League. We got some big games to talk about, not just the Swiftie fans with the Vikings-Chiefs game, but some interesting matchups that could have an early shifting of where we look at this NFL season. Keep it right here. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
NFL Sundays live here.
Montgomery hesitates, then over the left side, bounce, off tackles, 35. There he goes, left sideline, 30. He could go 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions. David Montgomery, 42 yards.
It's your NFL Sunday. We're Fox Sports Radio.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
They have a lot of fun things that go on in the morning.
This is the show that has two pros and a cup of Joe.
Who is Joe?
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox.
Oh, LeVar, you won the Butkus Award as well, too, in 1999. How about that?
I am a Butkus Award winner.
It's awesome. It's got to be cool.
It's quite an honor, and it's not just quite an honor now because of his passing, but I mean it's quite an honor because all the things that you heard Q say. I mean he's a stud, and he was the gold standard and still continues to be the gold standard. I mean, as far removed as people may be from ever having seen him play, I think the way he played the game has vibrated through time. It's lasted the test of time. He's never become an irrelevant figure, to what football represents. I mean, if you were to have a picture of, what tough, hard-nosed football looks like, and it were to be personified in a player, there'd be a couple players that would come to mind, and one of the first names that would always be mentioned in those sentences would be Dick Butkus. So for me, I know as a former award winner and someone who still represents, that award and what it represents, I felt like I spoke for us all when I put my message out that, we'll continue to carry on his legacy. Every one of us that wins that trophy and represents what he has ultimately represented. I mean, it's
To get the rest of LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox, podcast by searching Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Listen to Two Pros and a Cup of Joe weekdays from 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
Chase Claypool getting traded to the Dolphins is really not that big a deal.
It's huge.
But you would think that Jamar Chase got traded with the way people are reacting.
Yeah, I saw it and just laughed. How fast can we get a quote from everybody involved? We traded a guy that they gave up a second-round pick for a bag of balls. I guess the fact that they got anything at all is the big win there, but in the grand scheme of things, look, I wish him well. Like, as we always do. Find a better situation. Find someone that'll hug you and tell you you're special. That's all fine and good. Guy obviously didn't work as a member of the Bears. Like, that's what it all comes down to. Be accountable. Show up on time.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Justin Fields, 15 for 29, 282 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Did you see enough to tell you that this is their guy? Like, this is your quarterback, Chicago. Now just build around him properly, and eventually you might be able to make some noise.
No, but it doesn't mean that I don't think he can't play. I'm not saying that. I just need more. The sample size, Chris, unfortunately, we got way more bad sample size than good. I have to look at that. And I know of late, the last 2 games, Denver's bad, and they've got a big spanking on Washington. Yeah, I couldn't commit to either one, right? They got blew out by Buffalo, didn't they?
Blown out, yeah.
No, blowed out. They got blowed out. That's what they say in the barbershop.
This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. When you call yourself the premier sports lineup in the nation, you have to back it up. Well, my friends, we do. Check these names: Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, Jonas Knox, Doug Gottlieb. Spectacular. Cavino and Rich, Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, Ben Maller, Jason Smith, and Mike Harmon. Is that premiere enough? Listen to all those names right here. Really? On Fox Sports Radio. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Takes the snap out of the shotgun. Saints bring 4, and Carl Granson, the ball's picked off. That's Tyrann Mathieu, 15, 10. He will walk into the end zone. Pick 6 for the Saints.
That's WWL Saints Radio Network. Saints jumping on those New England Patriots, and and they have a 3rd and goal right now at the New England 2-yard line. Saints lead this game by a score of 7-0. Second quarter just underway. We are Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. We're live from the TireRack.com studios. We've had a very scary situation in the game between the between the Lions and the Panthers. Panthers rookie guard Chandler Zavala was on the ground, motionless. He had to be carted off. Now, there are reports that as he was being carted off, he did give the thumbs up. But obviously a very, very scary situation. We don't have a full report on his condition, so obviously we'll continue to update that. But we've had these moments. Obviously, we go back to that Bills Bengals game a year ago with Hamlin, and it just shocked the whole country. But the word is that Zavala, when he was being carted off, did give a thumbs up. So we hope the rookie guard is going to be okay.
Yeah, it's a struggle to watch anymore. A player backboarded, motionless on the field, being tended to by worried and hurrying staff members on the training staff and medical team with either or any of these teams across the league. So, thoughts and prayers with Zavala and his family. But yeah, you said it right. Since that incident last year with DeMar Hamlin, and obviously waiting until the late hours of the night because it was a primetime game to see what was going on with him, it's changed the whole feeling. I'm sure, from a viewer watching from somewhere outside the stadium, certainly, and I can't even imagine how it feels inside the stadium moving on from that.
Alvin Kamara has gotten into the end zone, touchdown, 14-0 Saints on the road against the Patriots.
Yikes. Well, the wheels are officially coming off, folks. If they don't start making adjustments quick, the New England Patriots could very easily be looking at a 1-4 record. And this week already, the question has come up. Tom Curran, who's worked for a long time in that market, he's currently with NBC Sports Boston. He was talking about who's going to outlast who, Belichick or Mac Jones. And I think 3 years ago when Mac was drafted, I don't think anybody would assume that any quarterback would outlast Bill Belichick in terms of whether or not a player was traded away or cut before Bill was fired. But all of a sudden, that's a realistic conversation to have.
Well, I mean, the question is, how does Robert Kraft handle the Belichick situation? He now has a losing record since Tom Brady left.
Yep.
He has a losing record. And if this becomes a 5-12 season, I mean, even if Robert Kraft came in and said to Bill, I just believe at this point you got too much on your plate. I still want you to coach because I still think you're the best coach in the history of this game. But we need to relieve you of your personnel duties and everything else. Do you think Belichick would ever go for that? Boy. Considering he's had total control of everything as long as he's had it?
It feels to me like it's going to be his way or the highway the entire time he's going to be a coach in this league.
I agree.
Because he knows no other way to win. I mean, there comes a point in everybody's life where you become a little set in your ways. It happens more and more the older you get. And this is a 70-year-old man now. Do we really think for a second that Bill is going to try to? I think he would probably prefer walking away from the sport before somebody he feels has an inferior intelligence in terms of what it takes to build a team, telling him how he needs to build a team. So
I agree with you 100%. I cannot imagine him doing that. And then the question is, if he were to lead the Patriots organization.
We got a touchdown in this Miami Dolphins game.
A-Chain again.
Devon A-Chain, he gets on the board 13-0 over the Giants down there in South Beach right now. And he fumbled on the last series for Miami. He coughed it up, gave it away after a pretty good rush. And so look at this one. Look where he gets this football and look where he takes it. This is just a simple inside zone, right? What that means is every single offensive lineman is just blocking the gap to their left. They covered up every single blue jersey, and it was nothing but grass to the sideline. Goodbye.
All right, so we talked about 3 teams going into this morning session. Are they that bad? That would be the winless Panthers, the New York Giants, and the New England Patriots, and they're all losing 14-0. So 3 teams, going into this week where you're like, wow, are you really this bad? This is a week where you got to show something. Giants still look awful. Panthers look bad. Patriots, yikes. So this, and by the time you get to week 5, in fact, going back what Jeff Shorts told me yesterday, I go, when you get into week 5, is it about evaluation of teams? He goes, it's more about how bad certain teams are than how good teams are.
Yeah.
Like by week 5, we can now start to tell, yeah, that team is not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are 3 teams right now struggling. Now, the Panthers have already made a quarterback change?
No, I don't think so.
Is that
No, I don't think so. I think Bryce Young's still on the field.
Well, he wasn't on that play.
No. Okay, yeah.
They
just put in Andy Dalton for the QB sneak. They're bringing Bryce Young back on the field. Okay, so they had a short yardage situation at their own 20-yard line. Well, look at Bryce Young and look at Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's about 230 pounds. Bryce Young might weigh 185.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
By the way, the push cost a couple of offensive linemen injuries.
Well, so the competition committee between the NFL and the NFLPA are going to review the play after the season's over, but at least for 2023, the brotherly shove, as they're calling it in Philadelphia, the tush push everywhere else, the short yardage play where you have a bunch of offensive skill position players pushing the quarterback behind the offensive line.
It's a scrum. It's a rugby.
It's a rugby scrum, which, by the way, I think it's probably one of the lower incident of injury plays.
But
in
we
the
had
NFL
a couple
playbook.
injuries.
Yeah, but you have injuries on every play. What are we going to outlaw football? I mean, go ahead. I mean, you could take away the running game, I guess. We could play flag football. We could play, you know what? We'll just do 7-on-7.
All right, we're getting close to halftime in some of these games around the NFL. For all the latest, the scores, the stats, everything you need, keep it right here. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
We are Fox Sports.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. Worn-out tires are a danger to you, your passengers, and other drivers. TireRack.com reminds you to inspect your tires regularly. Grab a quarter, stick it in the tread. If you can see the top of Washington's head, it's time to replace. Go to my page, TireRack.com/sports. Use the Tire Decision Guide to find the right tires for how, what, and where you drive. Choose from the full line of hand-cooked tires and tread confidently. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
WWE Friday Night SmackDown is live on Fox. Catch the high-flying superstars as they compete for supremacy in the ring. It's Friday Night SmackDown at 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. There are some shows you don't want to miss.
Anyway, it's a big story.
And there are some shows you can't miss.
Yes!
This is Covino and Rich.
I got a Pepsi.
Okay.
And I got some buffalo sauce.
All I wanted was a Pepsi.
And apparently,
Ramos, do you know what the Josh Allen is?
I don't. This is scary, actually, what's going on.
Josh Allen, I guess he's a spokesman for Pepsi, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
He's doing a Pepsi commercial, and he's like, what I do is I put Pepsi with some buffalo sauce in it.
Get out.
And then I mix it, and I stir it with a celery stick, and it's some type of, like...
What?
Yeah, so
is it like a Bloody Mary then, or
yeah, but with no booze or tomatoes,
Okay.
it's just a Pepsi. So
Pepsi with
I got some hot sauce. I could only make 4 cups, so someone lucked out. Who wants to give this a shot? I'll do it. So
Dan
hot
Byer's
sauce,
super finicky, so he's out. I'm good. Dan Byer, he only eats like
sauce.
chicken fingers, right? Isn't that the word? That's the word on the streets.
What hot sauce are you using there?
I'm using buffalo
sauce.
Yeah,
Oh,
buffalo
okay.
sauce.
Well, there's a difference.
I mean, well, that's what Josh Allen does, buffalo sauce.
So Josh Allen has this secret recipe. It's sweeping the nation.
It could be,
It might be the drink of the weekend. We'll see.
You want Tapatio
I'm
instead?
saying it could be Cholula.
Well, a little
It
buffalo.
could be. Well, again, it's Josh Allen though, and it's buffalo, so it's buffalo sauce. It can't be hot sauce necessarily.
I mean, this appears pretty gross.
This is
but
called a Buffalo Pepsi.
a buffalo Pepsi.
Buffalo Pepsi.
Now, if none of us throw up, we're gonna bet on the Bills.
Oh wait, can I ask a question though? Because I haven't seen Josh Allen drink. I've heard of it, but is it something that you're supposed to like down or sip and enjoy?
Well, I don't think it's like a shooter. I think we could sip.
Really?
You can't
Oh.
do a-
Hey, this is Cheech, and this is Chung, and you're listening to Covino and Rich, so listen up.
To get the rest of what Covino and Rich said, podcast it by searching Covino and Rich. And as always, you can hear Covino and Rich weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Check this out.
This is The Herd
You're excited. I'm excited.
with Colin Cowherd.
Colin, what about Justin Fields? Justin Fields was unbelievable. Well, he's always had moments and highlights. I said before the season, he's got to get out from being a YouTube quarterback. A lot of guys have highlights. We always knew he had talent, run around, great athlete. That's never been the issue. The issue has always been, and this is the issue with all quarterbacks eventually, sustainability. The great ones, Breeze, Brady, Mahomes, you kind of get the same thing every year and the same thing every week. A couple of stinkers here and there. So it's sustainability. Can Justin Fields give us this or something that looks sort of like this 13 times a year? I don't know. Last night was a breakout game for DJ Moore, more than Justin Fields. That's not a knock on Justin.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Doug Gottlieb. He was an athlete,
I am a former college basketball player, former professional player.
but he never pulls the player card.
It's about the sport.
He values discussion, especially when he's talking.
I talk, you listen.
He's Doug Gottlieb.
I'm a geek.
Say his name.
Oh, Doug.
It's Doug Gottlieb.
The champ is here.
That's right. It's the Doug Gottlieb Show.
You're welcome, America.
Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken.
Wow.
You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app. And here's what you need to know.
Dolphins running back Devon Achane could not be stopped.
In Golden Ocean, they give it to Achane. Achane with great speed down the sideline. Nobody's going to catch him. Touchdown, Miami.
What great speed on top of that. I think he forgot who he was chasing and trying to tackle.
Dolphins Radio Network. They're beating the Giants at home 14-0 halfway through the second quarter. The Saints are putting on a show in New England. First a pick six, then a couple of touchdowns. First Alvin Kamara with the 2-yard rushing touchdown, and then Derek Carr just found Chris Olave in the end zone, and they're all over the Patriots. 21-0 early in the second quarter. The Ravens have added a field goal to extend their lead over the Steelers. It's 10-0 halfway through the second. Colts beating the Titans 10-3, 6 minutes to go in the first half. Panthers on the scoreboard. Lions up, though, 14-7 early in the second. I'm Monty Bolaños.
This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. The play.
How about that second effort to get in the end zone?
The hit. Your team, your game.
You got the pads on there.
It's all broken down right here. Fox Sports Red Zone Radio is now live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio. Here's Steve Hartman and 6-year NFL veteran Rich Ornberger.
3rd and short for the Colts. Quick shotgun snap for Richardson. Big run for the Colts. There they go. Indianapolis inside the 20. Zach Moss the 10. He's at the 5. Touchdown. Zach Moss rips it away from 56 yards out.
That's the Colts Radio Network. Colts lead the Titans 10-3 right now, inside 5 minutes to go in the first half in that game. And this is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. We're broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com, we're going to help get you there. An unmatched selection, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection, over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Let's get ready for a big game coming up later on in the NFL.
Now. Hey, let's go. It's time for the NFL on Fox. Focus.
Join us right now, one of our favorite people associated with the National Football League, NFL on Fox's Tom Rinaldi. Tom, it is always great, and we appreciate your time getting ready for this Eagles-Rams matchup. And I got to say, Tom, a lot of people are jumping on the Rams bandwagon. I was one of those that thought the Rams were going to be awful this year, but now, obviously, with Puka Nacua, becoming the talk of the league at that wide receiver position, Cooper Kupp now returning, Matthew Stafford is throwing the ball well. This Rams team has a different feel than we thought they were going to have when the season started.
Isn't it just the latest proof of the power of expectation, guys? We sort of react based on what we expected. And that's not always the case for the guys inside the room. I don't know that the Rams themselves are anywhere near satisfied or feel like they've done anything particularly special. In fact, I think they feel like they should be on the plus side here, probably at 3-1. And they face a legitimate schedule to this point at going 2-2. You flip it over to Philly, it's not surprisingly, given that it's Philly and that market, but you would never know that they're 4-0. A lot of the conversation and focus is on their struggles, red zone offense, pass defense, the things that they haven't done as well, perhaps as the fan base expects. So it's an interesting collision of narratives for what should be a really entertaining game.
And let's focus in on the Philadelphia Eagles a little bit more. I kind of graded maybe C+, B- football that we've seen from this Eagles group, but they find ways to win. I think that is obviously a great milestone of a good culture, good coaching, obviously, great talent at quarterback like we know in Jalen Hurts. But why do you think the early hiccups this season for the Philadelphia team?
So it's interesting. We spoke to Hurts this week. If anyone is familiar with scrutiny, having played at Alabama, OU, everything he's been through already so early in his career, it's him. And he made the point, when you lose, all anybody wants to talk about is the fact that you lost. When you win, if people want to scrutinize how you won, that's a good sign. And that's how we view it inside the building. We want to get better while we win. And Nick Sirianni echoed that completely. He calls it growth mindset. That's one of his core coaching mantras, guys. And he says, that's been our message the entire week, growth mindset. The greatest thing about being 4-0 is the chance to go 5-0. And we don't want to be at our best in September. That's not the goal. The goal is that we continue to rise, that we get better. And as we do, we still find ways to win. And they've done that by your own description.
I think a lot of people forgot about Sean McVay for a second. And, I mean, this is a guy who now in his 7th year as an NFL coach, he's still 37 years old. And obviously, in winning a Super Bowl, taking the Rams to a couple of Super Bowl, perennial playoff team, all seem forgotten after last year's 5-12 disaster. But how has Sean McVay sort of recalibrated the mindset of this Rams team to get away and erase what happened a year ago and at least so far seemingly get back on track?
Well, I'd say that there's two names there that you have to start the conversation with, and that's Matthew Stafford and Aaron Donald.
Mm-hmm.
Were they the best versions of themselves last year? I think both would, of course, tell you no. Stafford, we know, suffered mightily through terrible offensive line injury and depletion, getting hurt, obviously getting injured and then having to sit out. And Donald was not at his best last year either. You know, talking to Raheem Morris, DC, I thought it was interesting. He was honest when he told us, look, up front, I think for a lot of people, not for us, but for a lot of people, it's Aaron Donald and a bunch of guys whose names you don't know. We know. And these guys draft off of Aaron Donald, his incredible work ethic and production. And Aaron Donald's playing at a great pace right now, back to that top form, as is Stafford. Real key here, guys, as we know, it always starts up front. Can they protect Stafford so that he can stay in rhythm, his timing works, and if that's the case, he's so accurate and such a gamer that I think this could really be a shootout.
I agree with you. I'm excited for this game. I think this could be one of the better games on the NFL docket this weekend. Also, we have an update with Cooper Kupp. He will make his season debut today. Puka Nacua and he obviously are two standout receivers on this Rams team. Cooper Kupp we knew about. Puka Nacua, we're just getting used to saying that name. There were a lot of people who speculated that maybe there wouldn't be enough room or, there's only one football to go around, but I see them as two completely different wideouts running different stuff. If you go back last year and the year before with Cooper Kupp and you turn on the film from this year with Puka Nacua, but what have you heard from the offensive staff on LA's side?
I think that's a really good and in a way it leads to a more nuanced point about where Puka is, of course, versus where Cooper is. The Triple Crown winner, we can make a strong case that he's the best receiver in the NFL. And that comes with an advanced knowledge and understanding of the offense and an established chemistry with the quarterback. Puka Nacua, for how sensational he's been and how great his story is with his five brothers, for folks who don't know it, it's an amazing story, is still in his infancy in building that chemistry with Stafford, even for all the eye-popping production, as well as his developing knowledge of the offense, how they're using him in perhaps some of the more elementary ways in this offense. Again, great credit to Stafford and the protection he's gotten. But I do see them as complementing each other in the way that the receivers on the other side of this game complement each other. In AJ and Devontae, they're not the same. Now, listen, part of that is up to Matthew Stafford to share that ball and spread the rock. But if you're going to make the case that having too many good receivers is a bad thing, I think you and I are not going to believe that.
No, just paging Kyle Shanahan, and also Mike McDaniel, Miami. They just added Claypool. Everybody's like, why? Well, just wait and see. That's why.
I'm looking at this Eagles schedule coming up here, Tom, and they're at the Rams, at the Jets with that great defense, Dolphins at home, at the Commanders. Then you got Cowboys at home, at the Chiefs, Bills at home, Niners at the home, and at the Cowboys. Are we, again, everyone's downplaying their 4-0 start. There are no style points in the NFL as far as I'm concerned. 4-0 is 4-0. But is there some feeling that as they go through this stretch over the next, 9 or 10 weeks, that maybe what happened a year ago was a bit of an aberration? That the Eagles aren't quite the team that they seem to be going toe-to-toe with the Chiefs in that Super Bowl last year?
See, to me, again, I think that's such a great question, and it is rooted in where we started our conversation, guys, and that's expectation, right? At the end of the day, the record is the record. And I go back to Sirianni, who was pretty impassioned when he said, listen, the only should that matters, we get drowned by should in our market. You should be doing this better. You should be doing that better. We should be getting better as a team while we're winning. That's the formula. We should continue to rise. And if we are undefeated in September and we're finding ways to continue to improve and address some of the concerns we have while we win, that's what we want. It's easier to go back under the hood and find the fire to improve and have critical scrutiny when you lose. The better teams, guys, as we know, do it when they win. And that is what the Eagles are trying to do. A big concern. Hurts brought up, talked to Kenneth Gainwell, one of my guys, just a short while ago, 5 minutes ago. Red zone offense. That is a clear area where the Eagles need to improve. And yet at the same time, when you score 25 or more a game, you're doing okay.
It's going to be a must-watch game, no question about that. Eagles at the Rams, NFL on Fox. Tom, we appreciate the time as always. Always enjoy the conversation. Enjoy the game.
We hope everybody does. I think it's going to be a good one, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, there he is. Tom Rinaldi joining us there, NFL on Fox. All right, coming up on the other side, we're going to get you updated on the 6 games going on right now around the NFL. We are closing in on halftimes. And yes, we got some games that are getting a little bit more interesting. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Game day. We suit up too. I'm in the league. By getting you ready. Fellas.
It's Fox Sports Radio's countdown to kickoff.
By putting you in the red zone.
Scrambling and then heaves one into the end zone.
Where it's caught! Oh my goodness! And by recapping your day.
We're working through all of it tonight.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. Worn-out tires are a danger to you, your passengers, and other drivers. TireRack.com reminds you to inspect your tires regularly. Grab a quarter, stick it in the tread. If you can see the top of Washington's head, it's time to replace. Go to my page, TireRack.com/sports. Use the Tire Decision Guide to find the right tires for how, what, and where you drive. Choose from the full line of Kumho tires and tread confidently. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Bring smiles to all when shopping online with Dell Technologies Gift Guide. Whether it's for the artist, the entrepreneur, the student, or the streamer, you'll find the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Dell.com/gift guide makes gifting easy with a carefully curated selection of our best tech. Shop now to explore our innovative PCs like the XPS 13 laptop, powered by the latest Intel Core processors, plus this season's top accessories. Visit Dell.com/gift guide today to get a jump on your holiday gift list. That's Dell.com/gift guide.
Fellow Americans, Noble Gold Investments is here to democratize your dollars. Imagine your wealth as a treasure chest in a world full of paper money that's as unstable as a house of cards. Noble Gold Investments offers you the solid gold and silver keys to that chest. Don't just take it from me. Lillian P. said, Ben guided me flawlessly from purchase to receipt, and Ronald, a retired CPA, has been totally satisfied since 2019. Noble Gold Investments isn't just a company. It's your financial guardian for life. It stands for integrity, efficiency, and the American way. And this month, with any qualifying precious metals IRA, you'll receive a free 5-ounce solid silver America the Beautiful bullion coin. Did we mention free? Noble Gold Investments is here to help you if you want to invest in gold or silver. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now. Noblegoldinvestments.com. The only gold company you should trust. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. And right now you can save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. Just text SHINE to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text SHINE to 200-300 right now to save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings won't last long. Text SHINE to 200-300. Don't wait. Text the word SHINE to 200-300. Text SHINE to 200-300.
They're fearless.
I would put all my chips to the middle.
They have attitude.
No nice things for you.
And they're best friends.
With my best friend.
He's Jason Smith.
I love chocolate and I love the Mets. Fire them all!
That's Mike Harmon. What else do you need? It's the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
This is a story you may not like.
Putting the sports world on their back.
I had a dream about Zach Wilson.
Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. And now, here's a little something that you missed from the Ben Maller Show.
This thing is going to drag on and on. Here we go. Does this Thursday night game's outcome say more about the Commanders or more about the Bears? So we pulled out the Maller scale of justice on this one, the Maller scale of pigskin justice, and the scale leaning heavily towards the Washington football team. Let's start here. There is no excuse I could think of for that performance by the Commanders. Right? That is halitosis is what that is. My God, get some mouthwash. It's one thing to lose, right? Teams lose all the time, but the competitive fire, the competition. You get beat if you play hard fun. You're not good enough. But for Washington, they did not have the fighting spirit. It was gutless football. And that is a referendum on Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, and his players. And if I was there, I would court-martial some people. Heads should roll. That is a violation of the pigskin legal doctrine. The Commanders failed to put an honest effort. Certainly in the first half. They made a little bit of a push in the third quarter, but it was a dereliction of duty. High crimes and misdemeanors. You know how hard it is to perform like a bucket of wet spit against the Bears? Chicago has been the personification of manure this season. The Chicago Bears defense against the Washington football team looked like they had Mike Singletary.
To get the rest of what Big Ben said, podcast it by searching The Ben Maller Show. And as always, you can hear The Ben Maller Show weekdays from 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. They don't always agree.
Can we have a logical? No!
Sometimes they yell, actually.
My goodness, I got a headache after all this yelling.
But they hold nothing back.
I'm a grown man.
They set the standard.
Bring out the cheese.
And they're on.
Yeah!
It's Chris Broussard. It's Rob Parker.
I'm the poo-poo king.
Ew.
It's the Odd Couple. Tag team in the airwaves, weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. When you wake up, we're already awake.
I got up and I did not shower.
Ew.
When you go to sleep, well, we'll be watching.
Whoa, Colin!
Why? Pop! Because we're the friend that you can't get rid of.
People really underestimate my willingness to go home.
We're that uncle who won't shut up.
You shut up!
We're the grandparents sharing wisdom.
I have a 27-year-old wife, but I got billions.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
All the way live!
The premier sports lineup in the nation. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Carr looks to throw. Pumps. Now throws to the end zone, and that is caught in the back of the end zone. And Chris Olave gets his first touchdown of 2023. 5 yards on the reception. Saints nail it.
That's WWL Saints Radio Network. Chris Olave out of Ohio State. His first NFL touchdown. The Saints doing a beatdown on the Patriots. 21-0 Saints. A little over a minute to go in the first half. That game is at New England. Once again, you're listening to Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. We are live from the TireRack.com studios. All right, let's update you quickly
Really quick. Anthony Richardson had to leave the game with a shoulder injury. It looks like, you have a lot of doctors on the internet these days evaluating the film evidence. They're calling it an AC sprain in the shoulder, and it is unfortunately his throwing shoulder. So this could be a bad deal for the Indianapolis Colts, but this guy needs to start protecting himself, and they need to start protecting him with play calling.
Well, again, they are fortunate because they have Gardner Minshew coming in, and Minshew has got the Colts knocking on the door right now. They have a 4th down and 1 at the Tennessee 5-yard line. Colts lead the Titans by a score of 10-6. So final seconds of the first half in that game. Some of the other scores, a minute and a half to go in the first half. Falcons lead the Texans 7-6. The Lions have added a touchdown. They lead the Panthers 21-7. 3.5 minutes to go in the first half in that game. The Giants.
Another one.
Oh,
after another Bryce Young interception, and there we go, touchdown Sam Laporta.
Laporta again. Look at Muncie. She's jumping up and down. Laporta is a scoring machine.
No way.
So, that is getting ugly for the winless Panthers. A team that's showing some life. The Giants have narrowed the gap. Dolphins still lead, but just 14-10 right now over the Giants. Minute 40 to go in the first half in that game. We mentioned the Saints blowing the doors off the Patriots 21-0 with a minute to go in the half there. And the Ravens Steelers, a very predictable game here. It's low scoring. It's tight. Ravens lead the score by a score of 10-3, 45 seconds to go in the first half. I want to check some of Pittsburgh's offensive stats. Not good. 89 yards in total offense for the Steelers with just less than a minute to go in the first half. So, the Giants go showing a little life here, and certainly on the defensive side. We were talking a couple weeks ago after that 70-point explosion by the Dolphins offense against the Denver Broncos. Like, is there any way to stop this Miami Dolphins offense? Well, last week, the Bills found a way. After early on, they pretty much shut Miami down. And if you look at the numbers in this game, the Dolphins are putting up yards. They have 276 yards of offense. A-Chain has 117 yards on the ground, including that 76-yard touchdown. Tyreek Hill having his usual 5-catch, 102-yard day. Tua Tagovailoa, 9 of 13, 152 yards, touchdown score. But they're not quite getting in the end zone like they showed a couple weeks ago.
Right. Yeah. Look, here's the crazy thing about that game, well, and about all games, is as offenses begin to click, defenses catch up. I mean, you'll see this around the midpoint of the season. All of a sudden, all the scoring that we start to see from like week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, it starts to slow down again. Because what happens is defense gets an early jump on offense, always, because offense takes longer to gel. But then we always see this big peak around between week 4 and week 7 where offenses are dominating defenses because things finally click in. But then we reach the halfway point of the season, and that's when the cream of the crop starts rising. That's when we start to see the elite offenses separate, especially when colder weather comes and you need to be spot on accurate with your passing. The run games, the teams with the better run games have more success because these defenses figure out a lot by watching now, 7 games, 8 games, 9 games worth of film. And so that's when we start to see the Patrick Mahomes. That's when we start to see, in the past, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, when healthy, Josh Allen separate from the rest of the crew.
All right, the Colts decided to go for it. 4th and 1 at the 5-yard line of Tennessee, and Minshew threw an incomplete pass. So we're at the half right now. Instead of 13-6, the Colts lead the Titans by a score of 10-6. Again, Anthony Richardson out with a shoulder injury. He was 9 of 12, 98 yards. He looked good, but he is out right now. Minshew 3 of 5, 37 yards in relief. Zach Moss had a 56-yard touchdown run. As far as Jonathan Taylor's return, he has played in this game. 4 carries, just 13 yards. His longest run so far, 5 yards. On the Tennessee side, Ryan Tannehill, 9 of 15, 91 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Derrick Henry, a quiet first half, 6 carries for 23 yards. Again, I don't quite understand. You're home.
Yeah.
You're up by 4.
Yeah.
You're playing a team, the Titans, that hasn't won a game on the road. Take the points.
Take the points.
Take the points. What are you doing here? I mean, you Minshew, he throws a pass incomplete. So instead of being up 7, you're up 4.
No, I'm with you. I think that a lot of these coaches, especially the younger coaches, and coaches in general realize that there's a lot less people who are banging the drum for conservative football, where you do things like that. You punt, you take the points. There's a lot more of a push in this analytics revolution we've seen on 4th down to go for it as opposed to do what I think is smarter football. But listen, it takes good feel. It takes obviously having a presence of mind in the game to make those decisions and make the right decisions. But you can't argue certain coaches have a lot of success by being aggressive and staying aggressive. In fact, for years in Indianapolis before everything blew up for Frank Reich, I thought they did a nice job of that, balancing aggressiveness with intelligence in certain circumstances. I want to spotlight the Houston Texans right now. who against a Falcons team that in recent weeks has really had a suppression, as Desmond Ridder has looked bad, objectively bad the last 3 weeks, and he's playing his best game since the opener against Carolina. C.J. Stroud is 12 of 19, 159 yards through the air. They're getting nothing out of their run game. Dameon Pierce has been held to 20 yards. They have 16 rushing yards as an offense because they tried a wide receiver rushing play that was good for -4 yards. He's carrying the Texans on the road in Atlanta. And again, when we think about the top 5 picks, the 3 that stand out, Bryce Young, who looks completely overwhelmed in Carolina, Anthony Richardson, who for the 3rd time in 5 games has been taken off the field with an injury. C.J. Stroud is quietly putting together a Pro Bowl year, and nobody is talking about it.
I'll tell you about an MVP year. How about Jared Goff? Jared Goff today is 13 of 17, 143 yards and 3 touchdowns. I thought Goff should have been a Pro Bowler last year. But when you think of the addition of Laporta, who has got 2 catches, 2 touchdowns already today. David Montgomery, by the way, is their sole running back. They haven't had a single carry outside of Montgomery. He's averaging 7 yards a carry. But Jared Goff and the Lions are blowing the doors off the winless Panthers 28-7. We're at the 2-minute warning, and we were talking early, Tom Rinaldi, about this Eagles team, because I think even though there's only 2 undefeated teams left, I think there's a perception. There's a big difference between where the 49ers are and where the Eagles are. You know, we are asking, are the Lions the number 3 team in the NFC? Could they be the number 2 team in the NFC? We'll see how the Eagles look today on the road against the Rams. The 49ers seem to be at a certain level, but the way the Lions are, you can just see it. They're building the confidence. They've gotten past the point like, can we be a winning team? They're building off where they finished a year ago, and they just seem to be getting better and better.
And think where Dan Campbell has taken this franchise
Phenomenal job.
They didn't win many games with Dan Campbell his rookie year as a head coach.
Oh, it looked like a disaster.
It takes a lot to encourage a culture that you're doing things the right way, that they're doing things the right way if you're not winning. Now, I give a lot of credit to the ownership in Detroit, giving him a nice long contract, giving him space to make mistakes as a head coach for the first time. I think you don't see that sort of loyalty anymore. Nobody was calling for his job. There weren't whispers of Dan Campbell in any sort of jeopardy after struggling out the gates. They gave him space to make mistakes and get better at the job. When you don't have somebody looking over your shoulder and breathing down your neck, you're more successful in anything you're going to do. So credit to the ownership, credit to Dan Campbell, because he came in with a plan. He executed the plan. He made believers out of his players, and you're seeing the results. They are absolutely pounding a team they should be beating 28-7 in the Carolina Panthers, and they've been doing this to good teams.
All right, by the way, the Panthers are on the move right now. We're inside a minute to go. Clock is running, and Carolina is deep in Detroit territory, desperate to get a score to at least make it respectable at halftime. One thing again, eyeball test on Bryce Young. This guy will not be deterred. I mean, he's thrown a couple of picks in this game, including an ugly pick 6, but he doesn't seem rattled, okay? In other words, he understands it's a process to learn how to be a quarterback in this league, especially when you're saddled with a bad team.
Whoa. We got a big interception return from the New York Giants.
That was the score earlier. They got the Giants within
I thought
10.
this was live. Now they're within.
That was the pick 6 that got him. Well, that's what we said. The Dolphins have been putting up yards, but not getting in the end zone. By the way, we're brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. Let's find out what is trending right now. Muncie is back.
I am back.
So this Laporta guy is scoring you a lot of points in your fantasy football.
Yes, so I have him in 2 leagues, but, it's just the way the cookie crumbles.
I love how you say that, like nonchalant. Yeah, I drafted in 2 leagues. No big deal.
No big deal. But right, I'm Ian, who is currently getting sound for us in the editing room. I'm playing against him, and he has him. So it's like a double-edged sword. I called him, and I already yelled at him. So we're doing great over here, guys.
Who's your main quarterback this week?
I have Josh Allen in 1 league, and I have Hold on. I have to think. It's too many. It's too many, and I just dropped somebody. I have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence.
Another one.
Those are my 3. And one is, I think it's Josh Allen and 2. That's how it goes. Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is 16th in the league in passes.
Yeah, but you know what?
A guy that's usually, I don't know, top 3.
With fantasy points, it's different. You know what I mean? Like, he's still giving me some, so it's okay. It's better than nothing. It's better than the alternative. I'm still going to, believe in him the rest of the season. The Dolphins added a field goal to go into halftime up by a touchdown, technically, against the Giants, 17-10. All of these games are pretty much approaching halftime. So the Colts are beating the Titans 10-6. You guys mentioned it. Anthony Richardson left the game with a shoulder injury. It didn't look great. The Saints have been all over the Patriots, 21-0. Ravens still holding on to their lead over the Steelers, 10-3. The Lions and the Panthers, they have less than 30 seconds to go in the first half. Panthers knocking on the door, but Lions are up 28-7. And the Texans have a slight lead over the Falcons, 9-7, after Texans just hit a field goal. They're heading into halftime. Earlier today in London, the Jaguars beat the Bills 25-20. Sean McDermott says linebacker Matt Milano is dealing with a knee lower leg injury, is out indefinitely. Defensive tackle Daquan Jones is dealing with a pec injury. He said basically for both of them, it's not looking good. The AP Top 25 came out for college football, fellas. Georgia, Michigan stayed top 2. Ohio State moved up 1. Florida State moved up 1 to number 4. Oklahoma, who beat number 3 Texas in that classic Red River rivalry game, moved up 7 spots. So Oklahoma coming in at 5. Penn State and Washington, Oregon all stayed in their spots. Texas dropped from 3 to 9, and USC dropped 1 from 9 to 10. Last thing I'll tell you, I decided to look at Travis Kelce's Instagram because his numbers have gone up. But he is not following Taylor Swift. That's rude.
What? Are you kidding me?
I'm not.
First of all, how many followers does she have on X?
On X?
Or on Instagram?
Well, which one do you want? Let's see. On Instagram, because they're different. On Instagram, she's got a lot. She's got 273 million followers.
All right. Okay.
Very good.
Travis Kelce has now 3.9 million.
Okay.
But he's not following
her.
Taylor Swift
I
on
think-
Instagram.
That's the sound of the police. I smell breakup. She's not going to Minnesota. Or at least that hasn't been confirmed yet. I think this thing's on the rocks, and he's about to have a song written about him.
Have we seen any public displays of romance?
No.
Because the only time I saw them together was after the first game, where they sort of were just walking. They weren't even holding hands.
Well, yeah.
Sort of walking through the locker room
It was
together.
a 4-second video with all these cameras on them. I don't blame them.
Well, I mean,
I don't blame
but...
them.
I don't know.
She's been hanging out. She hung out with, Brittany Mahomes, and they went out to dinner with a bunch of the ladies.
Yeah, I don't want to get too. I'm okay with public displays of affection.
I mean, I am too, but I don't blame them for that 4-second video we saw for not having public display.
What are we talking about here? You want him to round second base while they're
want
to be canoodling in his Camaro T-top?
I don't know. Maybe just a little holding of a hand. That's pretty innocent, right?
Sure.
Like we're together.
Yeah.
That's pretty innocent. Not like a makeout.
You know what? Okay, so Monty, this is. So we start the show, and Steve is like, I don't know of a Taylor Swift, and I don't care. I'm all football. Now he's like, you know what? Maybe blow a kiss to the press box is all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, if my lock of the day, and you know how my locks are, right?
Yeah, well, they're unlocked.
Take Vikings straight up at home against the Chiefs today. When she no-shows and he's in a funk because his girl's not there.
What are you talking about? If she doesn't show up, he might actually have a Travis Kelce style game because he hasn't.
Yeah, he'll be heartbroken.
He's been quiet.
He'll keep looking up like, where is she?
Yeah.
Where is she?
But this is going to be his game because she's not there.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
All right, Monty, thank you very much.
Welcome.
I expect more of this next.
All right, so we got to halftime. I want to get to another game later on today, the Jets and the Broncos. So last week we were talking about that Bronco game against the Bears, Rich, and we actually said, all right, what's worse? Giving up 70 points to the Dolphins or 21 points in one quarter to the Bears? They were down 28-7 in that game and then came all the way back to beat the Bears 31-28. Meanwhile, the Jets have looked like a team that's quarterback like Zach Wilson. But the Jets looked awfully good going toe-to-toe against the Chiefs a week ago. This is supposed to be the revenge game for Nathaniel Hackett after the comments by Sean Payton before the season began, laying the entire blame for the Broncos' bad 2022 on the worst coach ever, pretty much is what he said. So what do you make of this matchup here? Jets on the road. The Broncos are a slight favorite at home.
This one, I mean, what is the line exactly? 2. Yeah, this one is a hands-off game the whole way. I couldn't tell you what's going to happen in this game.
I mean, Russell Wilson is the third-ranked quarterback in this league right now.
What a disappointing couple of years for Russell Wilson, who left Seattle complaining outwardly about how he needed more control and say in the offense, imposed that will on Nathaniel Hackett, and had his worst season of his career with the Denver Broncos.
But it's not been that way this year. His numbers are good.
They bring in Sean Payton. He's been defanged again. Basically had all of the people that he hired from outside the football program taken away from him, back in a heavily structured system with Sean Payton. But now there are no results because the defense can't stop anybody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what a mess in Denver it is right now. And then we put our focus on the Jets, who obviously were hoping they hit in the draft with Zach Wilson, did not. Zach Wilson still looks inferior to many of the quarterbacks who are playing in the league with as good of teams as he's playing on. I really do look at the offensive weapons still in New York. I look at the defense they have, and I say this team with, I don't know, an Aaron Rodgers would be a Super Bowl pick for me. It's just outrageous. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. It's what Zach Wilson shows up. Is it going to be good Zach Wilson like we saw against the Chiefs, or bad Zach Wilson, which we've seen a majority of so far in his young career? And then with Russell Wilson, I'm assuming he's going to play well because he's played pretty well this season. But what does that mean for the Broncos if they can't stop anyone, including potentially the Jets?
Yeah, Russell Wilson going into this week was behind only Brock Purdy and Tua Tagovailoa in terms of passer rating, 67% passes, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Yeah.
I mean, those numbers are good. It's not been the problem of the offense. Again, that makes sense. I mean, Sean Payton is an offensive coach. So he's sort of righted the ship here. But certainly offensively, but defensively, they're not. Now, I was in Phoenix this week, and the Cardinals, who were the overwhelming pick to be the worst team in the league this year. Remember, the over-under on wins was 4.5, and every other team was at least 6.5. So I'm listening to, some of the Cardinals radio, and they are talking about Joshua Dobbs. They're talking Dobbs. He hasn't thrown an interception yet. And when you look at it, even that loss to the 49ers, McCaffrey went off. Okay, he's the best player on the field. But they were in that game. They're playing well. I mean, they beat the Cowboys convincingly. They played some tight games this year. This Arizona Cardinals team locally is getting a pretty good vibe right now. They're high on where this Cardinals team is heading.
Yeah, look, when you rattle off a couple of unexpected wins early in a season that seems doomed, or I shouldn't say a couple of close games and a win against one of the better teams in the NFC in a season that's really doomed, and you look at who they're facing and hosting in the mid-afternoon or late afternoon slate of games, depending which coast you're watching on. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals, they have potential to be a 2-3 football team. And I'm not saying competing for anything, but building on something here with Josh Dobbs. I mean, he's got to give you pause when you see the way that he's been able to keep this team intact. This is a guy who, I think it was week 2 of the NFL season, and he's pretty funny on social media, as I found out recently. He went over to the Cardinals team store and he couldn't even get his jersey. Right? I mean, this is how new he was to the franchise, that in his second week, after getting a win over the Dallas Cowboys, couldn't even get his jersey at the team store. So this looks way better than anybody expected it. Is it perfect? No. Are they going to win a Super Bowl or make the playoffs this year? Most likely not in terms of playoffs. Super Bowl? Absolutely not. But is this a good sign for things to come in Arizona? Yeah, I would say it absolutely is.
I'm trying to figure out, should the Cardinals, they're 3-point dogs at home against the Bengals. We still don't know. I mean, Joe Burrow is saying that he's feeling better.
Yeah. What does that mean, though?
Exactly. I mean, their offense has been non-existent downfield because that plant leg with that calf injury, he just hasn't been able to launch passes. I don't know. I mean, again, it seems like every time I pick a game, it goes the other way. But Cardinals, a dog at home against a team like the Bengals?
This is what I would suggest for any offense that's having issues with their rhythm, issues with a quarterback who's injured and can't pump the ball downfield. What can you do with Joe Burrow, right? You start thinking to yourself, he's a pocket passer. You can't script running plays with him, nor would you if he had a strained calf that he's playing through. So how do you make this look better consistently? Here's an idea. Go up tempo. Get to the line of scrimmage. Try to catch defenses in bad personnel groupings. I don't understand how some of these offensive coordinators sit on the sideline and head coaches who call plays sit on the sideline and they take their time. They use 15 seconds of the play clock and they're just waiting around for the defense to change their personnel, get into perfect position. So when the ball snapped, they have the advantage because either A, your offense is playing out of sync, or B, your quarterback's hurt. Go up tempo. Get to line of scrimmage. Let's go. Every 10 seconds, we should have a playoff, and then you can catch the defense sleeping and you can get things done. It doesn't mean you have to fire the ball 40 yards downfield. Joe Burrow can't do that right now. He has no pop out of his back leg. But go up tempo and catch some of these defenses off guard.
All right. So, by the way, remember we said the Colts passed on a 4th and 1 at the 5-yard line on a field goal, incomplete pass. So instead of being up 13-6 at half, they're up 10-6 at half. Well, now they're losing to the Titans 13-10. Spears, a 19-yard touchdown run. So the Tennessee Titans, looking for their first road win of the year, lead on the road against the Colts by a score of 13-10. Second half underway. In fact, second halves are underway around the NFL. We got all the latest for you. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
NFL Sundays live here.
Two takes the snap, fastball, nearly intercepted and then deflected and picked off by Pinnock. Pinnock needs a block. Pinnock across midfield. Jason Pinnock is going to take this 101 yards for a giant touchdown.
It's your NFL Sunday. We're Fox Sports Radio.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
Lowe's knows how to save pros time and money. Right now, get 15% off select gelled Wen windows and patio doors. And there's more. Earn 3 times MVP's bonus points on select Klein tools. Visit us in-store or online for more deals you can't beat. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Offer valid 10/5 through 10/11. Selection varies by location. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 10/27.
Now, here's a taste of something that you missed from the Doug Gottlieb Show.
Gotta have it. It's great.
And I was watching the Commanders last night, and again, Ron Rivera chooses to go for a field goal when they're forming a comeback instead of going for it on 4th down. And as we pointed out, and I don't think, I listen to a lot of sports radio. I watch a lot of sports on television, and people keep throwing out the Riverboat Run nickname. But what they don't know is that was tongue-in-cheek. Like, that's not actually his persona. He's actually really conservative. And again, I don't know how good a play caller Eric Bieniemy is, but I'm guessing that with his years of experience with Andy Reid, he would have had something up his sleeve for a 2-point play to win a game. Think of the creativity they had in Kansas City. That's what the hell you hire the guy for. I think they lost their season by not going for it against Philadelphia. Do I think they're going to get fired? Probably. You have a new owner. They want new ideas. They're probably going to have a new nickname. And remember, Ron Rivera, he hasn't done a terrible job. Right? It's not easy to completely remake a roster with all the changes they've had in the front office, with all the changes in ownership. I get it, but at some point, a new owner is going to want his guy, going to want to hire his guy and have his and you're sitting there going, they don't have a quarterback, so the next guy will get to pick whoever the next franchise quarterback is. And Sam Howell's a nice player. He's fine. And he allows them to use all that other money to go and spend it and upgrade everything else. But Ron, no one expected you to be great.
To get the rest of what Doug said, podcast it by searching The Doug Gottlieb Show. And as always, you can hear The Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Let's go.
It was a great effort and it was a great outing. It did not have me feeling as though this was a team that was going to tank. You know, like that had been discussed. Like, is Chicago a team that's going to tank? You know, it didn't look like they packed in the season in that game.
I mean, the best part about this for the Bears is there's probably some Bears fans out there very negative who are like, oh, way to go, now you blew our chance to get Caleb Williams. No. You still got the Carolina Panthers draft pick. And they look like a bag of turds at times, and it doesn't look like they're going to do anything this season. So you've still got Carolina's pick that you look at and go, if this continues to go south for them, at least you know that that's always something you could fall back on.
Two Pros, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and a Cup of Joe, Jonas Knox. 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Oh,
here we go.
Steve Covino. Ooh. Rich Davis.
Yes.
This is Covino and Rich.
It's not always analytics. There's got to be some gut feeling in there once in a while. You know, if you're an Atlanta Braves fan, I would be a little nervous because I just think that when you're entering, divisional is best of 5, right? So
correct.
When you're playing a best of 5 against a division rival, which, by the way, if you've noticed, that's the case with 2 series, both in the NL. If you're a Dodgers fan or a Braves fan, who in my opinion are the superior teams, that 5 game is scary against the division rival. The Phillies know the Braves, the D-backs know the Dodgers. That, in my opinion, favors the lesser team because something crazier could happen in a shorter series. But then again, what a
Covino and Rich, weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Fox Sports Radio.
Here we go.
So how do you like it?
The question is this.
You like it like this?
I'm strictly talking basketball.
Or like this?
Baseball tends to be, of all our sports, very much steeped in tradition.
And what about this?
Basically, the NFL has found ways to make money off of everything.
Like it a lot. Let's go. Whatever it is that you like, we've got it covered. It's sports the way you like it on Fox Sports Radio. The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken.
Wow.
You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can
gadget play. They're going to go with a flea flicker. Goff throws, man, wide open. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Sam Laporta.
Yeah, that's 97.1 The Ticket, Lions Radio Network. Lions having their way with the Panthers today, 28-10. Lions at the half. Once again, we are here for you. Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. We are live from the TireRack.com studios. Things have gone from bad to worse for the New England Patriots. I'm still trying to figure out what I just saw. So the Saints are leading 21-0. I want to make sure I get this play right. New England had the ball, and they had a 3rd and 1 from their own 34-yard line. And Mac Jones sort of runs up like we're going to do a quick snap sneak, one of those type of deals. So he runs up, the ball snapped to him, he turns and pitches the ball to a Patriots running back who immediately dropped the ball, recovered by the Saints. The Saints have cashed in with a field goal. So now with 11.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, Saints 24, New England 0, as the Patriots could fall to 1-4, and I think even worse than that, 0-3 at home. You remember when the Patriots never lost a home game?
Yeah,
never would lose a home game.
When I was playing there, I don't know how many home games we lost, but I can promise you it wasn't a lot. It was just such an insane advantage that when I went to other teams and I was playing with other players who had played elsewhere and talked about the process of going to Foxborough and playing against the Patriots, it was almost like it was an assumed loss. You can't assume those things anymore because these players, they're not the same players. Tom Brady is gone. Mac Jones is not Tom Brady. He's not even close. This team, from a personnel standpoint, even toward the end of Tom Brady's era in New England, that was a lackluster roster. It's really hasn't improved at all, except for defensively. Belichick has made no qualms about spending high draft capital and trading draft capital to improve the defense. The offense still looks like the cupboards are bare. But that was way too cute. You have a 3rd and 1 opportunity. I have 2 words for you, Billy O'Brien. Quarterback sneak. I know it's boring and everybody's doing it, but hey, maybe even have a couple of running backs behind your quarterback and give them a little bit of a shove. That seems to be a pretty high percentage play these days. It's bonkers how cute they're getting offensively when this team, all they need to be is just consistent. Just show any sort of life.
Again, you can hand the ball off to running back. If you don't want the quarterback to sneak, how about just a straight hand up the middle, and hopefully your offensive line can move the other team off the mark.
So
pitching the ball, that led to a disaster. The Indianapolis Colts have regained the lead over the Titans 17-13. Zach Moss apparently is inspired by the presence of Jonathan Taylor. He now has 13 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the ground.
What do you got, Bo?
Our crack research team here did the research. Rich, nice headshot on Pro Football Reference, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes, very good.
Which one they put up there?
You did not lose a game at home during your tenure with the England Patriots.
0.
So.
Wow. In his 3 years with the Patriots, they didn't lose a single home game.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, if we lost one, I can't remember it. And that's the reason why. Because we didn't. That's outrageous, man. Well, I mean, that's all gone. I mean, and I can tell you a couple of those games. Well, we did lose playoff.
You did lose a playoff game at home.
We lost to the Ravens. Ray Rice had a 80-yard touchdown run to start that game back.
Wasn't that like 21-0 in the first quarter?
2009.
Yeah, remember that game?
It was a bad day. You know what? Okay, I want to go back to what Bo said. We never lost a game in the regular season. Yes. How about that?
Yeah,
you
did,
gang. At home.
By the way, if you want to hear some numbers,
how could that team ever cut me?
I have no idea. By the way,
and you know what? Honestly,
it was a heartfelt conversation between you and Bill Belichick.
That's when the slide started.
If you want a monster on your fantasy football team, Tyreek Hill is a pretty good guy to have. He just scored on I believe, a 69-yard touchdown reception. Tyreek Hill has 6 catches, 171 yards, and a score. Dolphins now lead the Giants by a score of 24-10. And barring injury, his goal of being the first receiver ever with 2,000 yards, he may get 2,200 yards, 2,300 yards. I mean, he could put up some numbers this year that are completely off the charts.
He is pacing right now to hit that mark and go beyond. So,
way beyond. So, all right. So we got a lot of games going on right now, Rich. I like what we see. We got games coming up a little bit later on. By the way, Texans got a field goal to take a 9-7 lead over the Falcons. We'll continue to update you everything around the NFL on a busy Sunday. Keep it here. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You must have been busy, but The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. We're breaking this down.
You look at a Justin Fields. You look at a Daniel Jones. You look at a Zach Wilson, Rob. And there are many others. And a lot of times people will give them a pass because, they got a terrible offensive line.
Right.
They don't have any great receivers. They got a defensive head coach. They're not calling plays to fit their skill set. And then, Rob, I look at a guy like C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud is the worst enemy of that logic. Because C.J. Stroud, who you know, Rob, I liked him the best out of all the quarterbacks
in college
in this draft. Now, I did not like Bryce Young, but I liked C.J.
Was he too
Stroud
small
more.
for you, Bryce Young?
Well, I got questions, but I didn't go all the way to say, no, he's too small, don't draft him. You know, he can't be good. But one thing I did like about Stroud was that he was bigger, Rob. Like, he's a good-sized quarterback. And I just thought at Ohio State he was fantastic, as were all these guys, and that's another discussion, Ohio State quarterbacks.
That just haven't panned out.
They don't pan out. This is one that looks like he might completely break that mold, Rob. The dude is playing fantastic. And, Rob, his offensive line, you talk about depleted, the Giants got nothing on it. The Cowboys got nothing on it. The Jets have nothing on it.
To get the rest of what The Odd Couple said, podcast it by searching Odd Couple. And as always, you can listen to The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
yeah, here we go.
The Ben Maller Show.
Are you in? Does this performance mean that Justin Fields is now out of the Bears' doghouse? So I would advise you to pump the brakes. That is a premature take. Now, I would admit, and I'm willing to admit it, that he looked amazing. He hadn't looked that good since he played Rutgers or Northwestern at The Ohio State University. It was like he was out there dotting the I. So Justin Fields, now, he did play pretty well in the first half against Denver, although he gagged late in that game. But Justin Fields has moved from the dungeon of despair into the halfway house. And so the game against Denver, which the second half was not great, but the overall numbers were solid, and now the Washington game, I still put those in the anomaly category. Those are abnormalities.
Ben Maller, weeknights, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, on Fox Sports Radio. The Herd.
I am what I am.
There's nothing normal about him, and he's not your average sports fan.
Why are people trying to convince themselves average is good?
He's different.
I want my quarterbacks to be quarterbacky.
He's Colin Cowherd, dissecting sports to their core every morning.
Most great coaches are meant to be professors. Some are meant to be the dean of the department.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1. And here's what you need to know.
The Lions and Jared Goff are just rolling along.
Goff takes the snap, fakes the give, looks, throws, end zone, caught. Does he get both feet down? He did. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Josh Reynolds with the grab, and the Lions with a chance to get that lead back up to 14.
Lions Radio Network on the call. They're currently beating the Panthers at home 28-10 halfway through the third quarter. Jared Goff has thrown for 164 yards and 3 touchdowns so far. The Texans up on the Falcons 12-7 early in the third. The Colts have taken the lead over the Titans 17-13 late in the third quarter. Anthony Richardson out for the Colts with a shoulder injury. The Dolphins have added more points at home against the Giants at 24-10 early in the third. Saints still beating the 24-0 half third. Ravens up on the Steelers 10.
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. The play.
How about that second effort to get in the end zone?
The hit. Your team, your game.
You got the pads on there.
It's all broken down right here. Fox Sports Red Zone Radio is now live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio. Here's Steve Hartman and 6-year NFL veteran Rich Ornberger.
Pitch to Moss, slithering, bouncing off tacklers. He's in there. Touchdown! I-N-D-Y.
That's Colts Radio Network. Colts lead the Titans 17-13. Inside 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Zach Moss, 116 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Why did you pay Jonathan Taylor so much money? You already had the guy in Zach Moss. All right, this is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. We are broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com, we're going to help get you there. And unmatched selection, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection, over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. So looking at the games going on right now, Titans, by the way, Texans got another field goal. So it's been all field goals for the Houston Texans today. C.J. Stroud, the rookie out of Ohio State, 17 of 28, 203 yards, no touchdowns, and no picks. They got no running game, 23 yards on the ground in the game for the Texans. Desmond Ridder on the other side, 10 of 17, 120 yards, no touchdowns. So not a whole lot going there. Texans lead the Falcons by a score of 12-7. Another game we haven't talked a lot about because frankly, there's not much going on. That is the Ravens and Steelers. And again, this game just has that feel, doesn't it? Of, the Steelers are hanging in. They're not doing much offensively. They only have 124 yards of offense with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Kenny Pickett, 10 of 20, 84 yards. Najee Harris has 25 yards rushing. But they're hanging around. And they're down 10-3, and you just get a sense that somehow, some way, it is possible.
Yeah, it is.
Possible
it is.
that the Steelers could steal this one at home.
Mike Tomlin, when things are going ugly for his team, he makes games as ugly as possible.
Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly what you had to figure the game plan was going to be today. Defense in terms of your coverage unit, get some pressure on the car, make a mistake eventually. They lost the football already. The Ravens have. It's given the Pittsburgh Steelers a second chance opportunity. They obviously haven't capitalized on that opportunity in terms of points, but this is one of those games. They're mucking it up. They're making it ugly. And meanwhile, we have Fire Matt Canada chants raining down when the offense is on the field in Pittsburgh. The offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, the reports are out this week that if the production doesn't increase, he could be they can move on from him in the middle of the season.
All right, well, this game's not adding to his resume in a positive way, that's for sure. Titans just got a field goal, so they narrow the Colts lead. It's now 17-16 Colts. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter there. We talk about Zach Moss going off today for the Colts, 116 yards on the ground. Jonathan Taylor is back, but playing sparingly. 5 carries, just 17 yards. On the other side, Derrick Henry struggling, 10 carries, 33 yards. Actually, Tannehill has played well. 17 of 24, 206 yards, no touchdowns, and no picks. But this is usually a time of the game where if Tennessee is close, then you unleash Derrick Henry. And all of a sudden, he seems to be going downhill once we get into late third quarter, especially fourth quarter football.
And again, staying in that division, I just want to spotlight a story that nobody seems to be paying attention to. Maybe there'll be more after this game if it results in a win and they improve to a winning record. The Houston Texans leading the Atlanta Falcons 12-7 in Atlanta right now. CJ Stroud, 17 for 28, 203 yards through the air. No touchdowns yet, but no picks either. And again, the running game has done nothing. 23 yards on the ground. We've got 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. They've gotten nothing from their running game. The only reason why the Houston Texans have a heartbeat this season is because CJ Stroud is playing so otherworldly above his head with absolutely a cast of nobodies. Tank Dell is brand new to this league. Dalton Schultz, he came to the Texans on a deal, but it really kind of felt like, well, he's getting closer to the end of his career instead of taking off. Nico Collins, did you know his name before the start of the season? No, but a lot of people picked him up on the waiver wire because of how well Stroud's been working with him. But go down the list of receivers, running backs on this team. It's anonymity. It's like the side of a milk carton. But CJ Stroud, he's something special, man.
All right, the NFC South. Not a pretty division, to say the least. However, Tampa Bay off to a 3-1 start with a prime candidate for NFL Comeback Player of the Year. That would be Baker Mayfield. He's played very well. Bucs are off this week, but the Saints, they get this win, and there's no sign that New England's going to have any kind of great comeback in this game down 24-0 and no offense. They get to 3-2, and you got Derek Carr healthy. You got Kamara back, Michael Thomas back for the Saints right now. I mean, I look at Atlanta. I'm not seeing a whole lot out of the Falcons right now. And, of course, Carolina can't win a game. It's going to be an interesting battle. If Baker Mayfield can continue to play as well as he has for Tampa and a Saints team with a quarterback that, let's face it, when Derek Carr is healthy, he's better than a middle-of-the-road quarterback. I mean, I've always been a Derek Carr in terms of his leadership qualities. I think he has that dynamic in him as a quarterback. So it could be an interesting battle. Two teams that might be a little bit better than a lot of people thought when the season began.
Derek Carr, when healthy, is a top 10, and if you don't agree with that, top 12 quarterback in the National Football League.
Right.
I mean, that's just what he is. Is he ever going to be in the top 5? No. He had one season where he actually broke his leg, where he was on his way to having a top 5 season, but the exceptions don't prove the rule. What we've seen when he can stay healthy, when he's on the field for, 16 or 17 starts throughout his career, he is a top 10 or a top 12 quarterback. He is better than the majority of the quarterbacks in this league. And that's great for the Saints, who have an unstoppable defense. And all they needed was somebody who can compose themselves and get the football thrown around the yard a little bit. And then they can have a chance to win an NFC South that, frankly, is very winnable. You look at Carolina, you look at Tampa Bay, you look at the Falcons. It's extremely, extremely winnable. So, yeah, Derek Carr, it's my out on the limb pick this week that they'll show up in an NFC Championship game somehow. Because you look around the NFC preseason, weren't a lot of teams that were really sticking out to you, begging you to take them. So as one of those thoughts, like you just proposed, Derek Carr, pretty good quarterback, pretty damn good defense, low key division. It makes sense to me.
All right. So the Giants got a field goal narrowing Miami's lead 24-13 right now. Miami leads the Giants 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter in this game. Daniel Jones hasn't been awful, but here's the problem, Rich. He's 13 of 17, 112 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He's run for 24 yards. He's been sacked 5 times.
Yeah.
Last week he was sacked, 10 times? 10 times in a game.
Hang on. People were blaming Daniel Jones for that loss. I put out a tweet. I said, you can't do the job if you can't do the job. He got sacked at the time. I thought it was 11 times, but he got sacked.
Well, overall, there were 11 sacks. He personally was sacked 10 times.
But I put out this tweet. I can't tell you how many people were on top of me about, oh, it wasn't Daniel Jones' fault and this and that. Listen, I get it. It's frustrating when your offense is stagnant, but you cannot blame what happened on Monday Night Football on Daniel Jones. If you get a quarterback sacked 10 times, it almost feels like there needs to be a reaction.
And by the
immediately.
way, a lot of these weren't like little trip-up sacks. Like, he was getting blasted.
Oh, hammered.
I mean, blasted.
People are like, well, he's responsible for some of them. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, not a single offensive line coach in college football or the NFL would ever have the gall to walk into an offensive staff meeting after his unit gave up 10 sacks and say, yeah, but you know what they're saying on Twitter? Daniel, he was responsible for about half of them. You would be thrown out of the room, your desk would be dumped upside down, and you'd lose your job. You can't give up that many sacks. And to their credit, the Giants look better today. Now, they're going against a different defense.
But they're 5 sacks.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's better. I didn't say it's good. It's not good. It is the farthest thing from good. It's better. This Giants season, if it ends up going down as what it looks like it's going down as a very poor season, you can blame the big guys up front.
Well, let me ask you this. If the Giants end up with the number 1 pick in the draft, you just gave $40 million a year to Daniel Jones, you still taking Caleb Williams?
I mean, Caleb Williams is the type of quarterback like what C.J. Stroud is doing at Houston, little bit less expected because he was the 2nd overall pick, but still look at what he's done.
Well, Caleb Williams is being typed as the best prospect we've seen since Andrew Luck.
What Justin Herbert did with the Chargers his rookie year, like an obscene talent. Like you get like the Chargers, let's be very honest with the Chargers. Chargers, the only reason why they have a chance is because of Justin Herbert. The Texans, the only reason why they're 2-2 right now is because of C.J. Stroud. Patrick Mahomes, he got to wait on the bench for a year. Now, he is the best quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. So I'm not throwing any shade at him, but there are quarterbacks who step into a situation that looks pretty desperate and makes them immediately better. Caleb Williams is that type of a quarterback. So if the Giants have the first pick, they better take him.
Hi, this is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. We're brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. We are heading into the 4th quarter of 6 games around the National Football League. Which games will take us down to the wire? Find out. Keep it here. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Our NFL coverage hits hard, and not just on game day.
A walk-in touchdown.
Check this out, man. Follow us on social media all season at Fox Sports Radio. It's football. Breaking news, videos, articles, and reactions. Your season is not over at Fox Sports Radio.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive. at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Does your current trophy wife want a life insurance policy 3 times the size of your previous mistakes? Relax and call Big Lou at Term Provider. Big Lou says if you're in your 50s, even a bit porky, a $1 million term life policy should only cost about $200 to $300 per month. Call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He likes trophies, too. For affordable life insurance, call 800-529-2856.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
We've done the calculations. We've crunched the numbers. Our morning math is simple. 2 pros plus 1 Joe equals a butt-kicking combination.
They're like emotionally unstable zombies.
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn.
Everything felt really itchy.
And Jonas Knox.
I like it chunky. What? Come on.
It's 2 pros and a cup of Joe. Kicking butt every morning. Weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific. On Fox Sports Radio.
At work. I play it all day, every day at work.
When Dan Patrick speaks, you better stop and listen.
Yeah, where do you listen at?
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
So the Bears' win last night ended their losing streak at 14 games, longest in franchise history. You can't speak about the Bears franchise without mentioning the great linebacker Dick Butkus, who passed away yesterday. And the timing of it, while you don't want to see anybody pass away, but the timing of him getting the national exposure, kind of reintroducing him to another generation. I love that fact that people will be asking questions, maybe, Googling Dick Butkus, looking at highlights, what he meant to the game. The fact that he was, an Illinois guy, went to the University of Illinois, played offense and defense when he first got there, center and then linebacker. And then he became pretty much the poster child for being a linebacker in the NFL, at least the old NFL. He was Chicago Bears football. He, along with Papa Bear Hallis and Gale Sayers. They didn't play in playoff games. Dick Butkus did not play in a playoff game, but one of the greatest linebackers of all time, passing away at the age of 80. And there are admired athletes in Chicago, beloved athletes, but he was different. He was a hometown guy, played for the Bears, went to Illinois, and, was still attached to the Chicago Bears. When you saw Dick Butkus on the football field, you saw tough. That was the word that always came to mind. Intimidation. Like we have guys you go, oh man, he scares me. There were players playing against Dick Butkus who didn't want to go back into the game. They were that.
If you want to know what Dan Patrick said next, just podcast it by searching The Dan Patrick Show. And as always, you can listen to Dan Patrick live weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. The popular group of sports radio.
Popularity matters.
The cool kids.
Let's not overreact.
Steve Cavino.
I'm going for the clout, for the clicks.
Rich Davis.
To all the girls I've loved before.
It's Cavino and Rich.
2 nerds.
Really?
Putting the cool in sports.
I got kicked off of the Mets chat because I'm too positive of a guy.
Yeah. Weekdays from 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Worldwide leaders of nonsense.
When you want sports, we got you.
We've seen Joe Burrow walk in. He's looked unbelievable.
If he's playing well, then he's playing with house money.
When you want news, we got you.
We have breaking news.
Breaking news of the world of college basketball.
When you want laughs.
As coroner, I must kick her. I thoroughly examine her.
That's the corner.
We got you. Anytime, any place. We're Fox Sports Radio, the premier sports lineup in the nation. The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken.
Wow.
You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
Steve Harvin, Rich Armberger, Fox Sports Radio. We call this Red Zone Radio because we're getting you up to date on all the scores, all the stats around the National Football League. We are live from the TireRack.com studios. All right, the Colts have added a field goal, so they've increased their lead back to 4, 20-16 over the Titans. 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter there. Dolphins scored again. Mostert, he and A-Chain have just been scoring machines this year.
Oh, yeah.
A-Chain this year in this game, he has 9 carries for 148 yards and a score. He had a 76-yard touchdown. And then Raheem Mostert, who, remember when he left the Niners, was sort of like done, right? I mean, he had injuries.
Yeah, the knee injuries when it was with the Niners.
And it just seemed like, Mike McDaniel knew who he was, obviously, because he had used him in his offense. You're like, okay, this guy's done. He's not done. 7 carries, 56 yards. That's 8 yards a carry. He just got in the end zone. So the Dolphins lead the Giants by a score of 31-13. The Falcons trailing the Texans 12-7. We're heading into the fourth quarter in this game. You'd mentioned Desmond Ridder. He got off to a decent start this year, and again, his numbers today are not bad. He's 18 of 25, 211 yards, no touchdowns, and no picks.
He's off to an awful start this year. He had one good game. This Falcons team is 2-2, despite his best efforts to ruin that. He's been awful. He was good against Carolina.
He was,
and then he had
15 of 18.
3 straight games where he was terrible. And this is the first time we've seen him look anything like what he resembled in Week 1.
So are they married to this guy?
No, of course not.
I'm just so curious about how this is going to play out with the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. I'm watching. By the way, I'm watching that USC Arizona game, which, by the way, was very, very late. I'm doing LA TV last night, triple overtime game. SC was unbelievable. They had a game-winning field goal. It was a high snap.
Oh, I know.
The holder jumps up and was literally standing trying to put the ball on the ground.
Hysterical.
The kick gets blocked, and they survive. SC has no defense. They're not a playoff contention
team. They gave up 41 points to Arizona.
They were down 17-0 in this game. Caleb Williams didn't have a huge passing game. He actually had 3 touchdowns on the ground. But you watch this guy. And again, it's not just his ability to make every single throw. He is a serious runner. Like when he takes off, he does with conviction. He's not tiptoeing around.
No.
He's a superstar talent. And so he will be the number 1 pick in this draft. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He will be the number 1. It's just like, who is going to be that team?
Well, I could tell you right now who I think that team is going to be that gets Caleb Williams next year. It's the USC Trojans. I really don't
Do you really think he's going to pass on the draft?
I don't really understand how. Well, it can get better. Don't get me wrong. It can get better. But with all the success that he has coming to him at USC and all the money, NIL changes everything. Like, it is not guaranteed if you're the first overall pick, even with as surefire a pick as Caleb Williams is, that it's going to work out at the next level. I mean, Bryce Young is making mistakes at the next level that we never seen him make at the college level. He's throwing gimmies to cornerbacks. That's something we never saw him do at Alabama. He just looks completely different. He looks completely overmatched. Caleb Williams owns, and I mean absolutely owns, college football right now. Baker Mayfield, another example, a guy who had one breakout season with the Browns where they went to the postseason, but overall it's just been pretty kind of ho-hum in terms of his career. First overall draft pick. I mean, Ryan Leaf, this is years and years ago, dating back, to the earlier 2000s, but Ryan Leaf was a surefire draft pick. If you ask any general manager to honestly assess who was number 1 on their board at quarterback that year, it was Ryan Leaf. This happens all the time. Guys look sensational in college. They come to the league at not just quarterback position, but a variety of positions, and they struggle and they stumble. He's probably making, if I had to guess, north of 8 figures at USC this year.
Oh, yeah.
So $10 million is the basement. Okay. Plus whatever he's getting in, just handouts in terms of like things that have monetary intrinsic value that don't get reported as cash. That he doesn't have to necessarily run ads for. I mean, he has the world. He has the world right now. Why would you want to go, if you have a year remaining in your time in college football, why would you want to go to the Cardinals or the Falcons?
Oh, any of those teams. I agree with you that it's a possibility. It could change, like you say. By the way, I got an update for you. So last week, the New England Patriots lost to the Cowboys 38-3. It was the worst loss in the Belichick era, 35-point margin.
Awful.
They are now trailing the Saints 31-0 at home. Okay, so I asked you before this show even began about this game, that the Patriots came in really needing a win. They are getting humiliated for the second straight week. That's 69-3 over the last 2 weeks for Bill Belichick and his New England Patriots. Now what?
I mean, all of a sudden you're going to start seeing reports of, franchise hesitance in terms of talking about the future with Bill Belichick, and Robert Kraft is going to defend all that and say, oh, there's no doubt that Bill's going to be our coach. And then they're going to ask him follow-ups and talking about the future. And there's going to be wavering here soon. This is how it goes. Look, even a coach as talented as Bill Belichick, as esteemed as Bill Belichick in the National Football League, he understands, just like everyone else who has that position, is there's only 32 in the whole world. You have to win. It's a results-driven business. And if you're going to get beat, not only get beat, but drop to a 1-4 record and be coming off of 2 of the worst losses you ever suffered in your career in consecutive fashion, that's how this league works. What have you done for me lately?
How much? I mean, seriously now. And again, trying to belittle the accomplishments of Belichick is ridiculous. But because of his association with Tom Brady, because of that partnership, who made who? And since Tom Brady left, it has been a free fall for Belichick. Tom Brady obviously won the Super Bowl, had a couple other playoff runs, called it a day. I mean, every single week, is his legacy taking a hit?
Well, of course, but not as big of a hit as I think, like, for example, Sean Payton goes to a brand new franchise with the Denver Broncos, and they're falling off a cliff right now. If he has a second season like that, I think it's more damaging to his reputation than the 2 decades plus of success and Super Bowl wins that Belichick has had and enjoyed with New England. Now, when you say who made who, the quarterback and the head coach make each other. Because go back through the annals of history, look at every single successful coach, they're tied to a successful quarterback. Look at every successful quarterback, they're tied to a successful coach. You really need a culture builder if you're a quarterback in order to have a chance. You really need a quarterback if you're a culture builder, if you're a head coach in order to have a chance. There's no way those two things can operate in a vacuum. So I know it seems like the cop-out answer, but it is the God's honest truth. You need both. And that was a special pairing for all those years.
Crazy. So 31-0 at home.
Oof.
The Patriots are losing the Saints. Patriots are going to go 0-3 at home this year.
Yikes.
1-4 overall. So, yeah, all hell's going to break loose. I can't imagine what the post-game press conference is going to be after this one.
It's going to be quick. I can promise you that. There's not going to be a lot of words spoken by Belichick, and he's going to say the things that you're used to hearing him say. He's going to take a lot of accountability.
Is he going to take, Mac Jones, after getting pulled, by the way, Zappe did come in briefly. Mac Jones, another 12 of 20, 210 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, a 30 passer rating. Is he going to continue to put Mac Jones out there, or is he going to go with Bailey Zappe? And he's got to be looking at Bill O'Brien like, what the hell's going on here, man?
Mac Jones, if he starts next week, that will shock me. He's playing himself not only off of this team, but potentially out of this league. There are going to be a lot there's first of all a lot of coaches around this league who respect Billy O'Brien. There are going to be a lot of curious general managers out there to know exactly what type of guy this is, because there will be QB needy teams in the offseason. I think we have our answer on whether or not Mac Jones is going to be a long-term solution for New England. The answer is almost definitely no at this point. And I would say this, when you have a head coach as great as Bill Belichick has been, whose reputation is being staked on the success of a Mac Jones at this point, it may benefit New England to play as badly as possible so that they could get Caleb Williams.
I was going to ask you right there. Okay. If you're Caleb Williams, do you want to be a New England Patriot? Would you want to be in this offense?
See, that's the tricky thing. Again, like I said, this guy's making north of 8 figures at USC.
Answer the question. If you're Caleb Williams, would you say,
I've already answered it. I would, if I'm Caleb Williams, I'm staying at SC because nothing is guaranteed at the next level. Certainly not with any of the teams who are at the basement of the NFL right now. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that at all.
I wouldn't be. This team is bare. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Who do they have? Give me an impact guy on their offense. Not happening. All right, so we got to find out what's trending right now. I don't think she would have any New England Patriots on her fantasy teams. I dare say. Monsi, do you?
I do, but I don't have him playing. I have Ramondre Stevenson.
Okay.
But he's on my bench.
So
I do have one.
You have any offensive players wearing a Patriots uniform, keep them on the bench.
Yeah, no, it's not looking good, man.
Well, how is Ramondre Stevenson doing? We haven't even checked on good old Ramondre.
I could just tell you, though, that the Patriots have 0 points. So, I'm going to go with that.
Mean they don't have 0. I mean, he could be having a great day. Let's look at the box score.
All right, I'll tell you right now what he's doing.
Feel free to do that,
he
but I have him on my bench.
0 catches for 0 yards. He has 2 targets, 0 catches.
Hang on, he's a running back.
Okay,
he's
he has
a running
6
back.
carries for 19 yards.
Okay, so not a good day to have him on your active roster. I think on the bench is probably right where you should have him.
Yeah. So
he had an 8-yard run. He did have one 8-yard run.
Yeah, still no regrets. No regrets.
By the way, Zeke Elliott is also 7 carries for 16 yards.
Good.
A whopping 2 yards a carry.
Things are going very well offensively.
The Falcons, though, have taken the lead, guys. Desmond Ridder found Bijan Robinson, who has been quiet this game, found him in the end zone, and then went for a 2-point conversion. Were successful, so the Falcons are beating the Texans 15-12 early in the fourth quarter. The Lions are at the Carolinas' 1-yard line, so they're knocking on the door.
They're in the door.
There we go. In the door.
Jared Goff.
Why? I mean, was it the tush push? Was it the brotherly shove?
Let's get a Chris update. Chris, exactly how did Goff get into the end zone?
Up the middle for 1 yard.
Very carefully.
Very carefully. There you go.
Very good.
So there you go. Jared Goff just keeps on rolling for the Detroit Lions. 34-10 is the score against the Panthers. They just started the fourth quarter. The Colts up on the Titans 20-16. Colts do have the ball midfield. 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Dolphins, they share the ball. That's what's nice about the Dolphins. Everybody's getting the ball. Who do you have? Tyreek Hill, no problem. Devon Achane, no problem. Raheem Mostert, no problem. Everybody's getting the ball. Dolphins are beating the Giants 31-13 early in the fourth quarter. Patriots, we just talked about it, 0 points. Saints 31, though. 31-0, not too shabby. This Ravens-Steelers game, oh my goodness, it's been a little bit boring, not gonna lie, but the Steelers are hanging in there like you just said. Ravens are up 10-8. 7 minutes left in the game. Baltimore has the ball.
That is such a Ravens-Steelers score.
It is such
that's 10-8 on 2 field goals and a safety.
Can I just say how crazy I am watching the Steelers down 5 on the goal line, kicking a field goal instead of going for it on 4th down?
Yeah.
I don't
understand. You have 7 minutes to go in the fourth, so the Ravens haven't done anything since the first quarter offensively.
Yeah. Games that are still to come, Bengals and Cardinals. T. Higgins is inactive for the Bengals. Rangers and the Orioles are going to start their game too, and it starts at 4 p.m. Eastern time. The Rangers are giving the start once again to Jordan Montgomery. Just 5 days ago, he, had a great game against Tampa Bay in the wild card series, so he's getting the start. Grayson Rodriguez is getting the start for Baltimore. And Game 1 of the WNBA Finals is going on. Tom Brady in attendance. Liberty up 25-22 against the Aces. They're about to start the second quarter. A lot going on.
All right,
Monty,
very, very good. By the way, Juju Smith-Schuster, another big pickup for the Patriots this year. 3 catches, 6 yards.
There you go.
3 catches, 6 yards. That's what you call stretching the field. By the way, Daniel Jones is on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, is it Tyrod Taylor?
Is that
the
Tyrod?
backup?
Don't call me Tyrod Taylor.
Yes.
We found that out when he's with the Chargers. Everyone calls him Tyrod Taylor. And he's actually, my name is Tyrod.
Yeah. Didn't it take him a long time to tell people that, though?
Like 6 years.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, my mom calls me Tyrod. That's how everybody's called me. But then when I went to college, it was Tyrod, and I never told anybody to change it.
So from that point on, every time I said his name, it's like, Tyrod, stop calling me Tyrod Taylor.
Daniel Jones finished the day with 14 of 20, 119 through the air, no picks, no touchdowns either. He was sacked 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's 31-13. There's 10 minutes left in the game. I don't blame the Giants. Why would you subject somebody you're paying $40 million a year to the sort of abuse that he's taking in a game that you're going to lose? Daniel Jones, for the past 2 games now, has been sacked 16 times. 16 times. There are offensive line units who don't give up 16 sacks until like week 14 of the NFL season. This is such a putrid, disgusting performance by an offensive line unit. You cannot appropriately appraise Daniel Jones as a quarterback in this game, in his last game, frankly, for the season, if he's going to be playing behind a unit of turnstiles. Look, I'm not a Daniel Jones apologist or a defender. He's being walked off the field by members of the medical staff, by the way, so maybe there's more to this story. We'll check in later.
The story is he keeps getting hit and hit hard.
But this is unwinding because A, they don't have a running game without Saquon Barkley, and B, they have an offensive line who I believe they think the goal is to allow defenders to hit their QB, and Tyrod Taylor has just been sacked. Speak of the devil, that's his first on the game, but I'm guessing it won't be his last.
He got hit.
He got
slow to get
crushed.
He got crushed. I mean, look at Brian Dable. See, this is the thing about the Giants, right? So when they end up giving Daniel Jones this $40 million a year contract after a 15 touchdown, 5-pick season, the thinking is, all right, look what Dable's been able to do. We go back to his Josh Allen days, the quarterback whisperer. He will be able to use this as a foundation to take Daniel Jones to the next level. I never dreamt the Giants could be this bad. And by the way, they just went for a field goal. They got it. So 31-16 right now. Technically a 2-score game. By the way, the Ravens pulled one. So the Ravens trailing by a score of 10-8, and they punted the ball, and it was fumbled by the Steelers. Brutal. And the Ravens recover at the 7-yard line. So the Steelers did exactly what they wanted to do, right? You kick the field goal, you're down by 2. You kick the ball away, you get the field goal, you force the punt, and then you fumble.
Yeah.
That's why you never wait for those points later on when you have a situation on the goal line like that.
So they seem to be in a perfect situation to get the ball back and maybe get in for a winning field goal. Instead, the Ravens have a 2nd and goal at the Pittsburgh 4-yard line, leading 10-8 with inside 5 minutes to go. So that's where we stand on that. Meanwhile, Bijan Robinson, a touchdown reception for the Atlanta Falcons. The rookie running back, outstanding out of Texas. Not much on the ground today, 14 carries, 46 yards, but he did catch that touchdown pass. So the Falcons lead 15-12, 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter in that game against the Texans.
Yep.
And they have the ball back right now at the Houston 14-yard line.
Yeah, they're in the red zone again. It's going a little sideways for Houston here. They have a 3rd and 11 at that 14-yard line and just threw it away. So my guess is they'll settle for the 3 points here, and they'll go up 18-12 as we're well into the 4th quarter there. Yeah, look, I mean, it's not perfect for Houston. How could it be? You have a brand new head coach. You have a brand new offensive coordinator. You have an injured offensive line. You have complete anonymous players around CJ Stroud offensively. So the fact that they're even vying for a winning season right now, because this game is still winnable in Atlanta, is shocking.
All right. The Saints, remember last week was the worst loss in Belichick's history, 38-3. This week could top it. The Saints, already leading 31-0, are at the New England 30-yard line. They have a 3rd and 7. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. By the way, the Colts are trying to put away the Titans right now. We're at the 2-minute warning. Colts lead the Titans 20-16, and they have a first down at the Tennessee 18-yard line. So obviously a touchdown there, and you can lay that game to rest. Zach Moss, 20 carries, 157 yards, and 2 touchdowns in a game where Anthony Richardson got injured, a shoulder injury. Gardner Minshew doing what he does. Comes in 11 of 14, 155 yards. He has played very well. But the story of this game for Indianapolis, you get Jonathan Taylor signed to that big contract. He was back today, 6 carries, 18 yards. Zach Moss, 157 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
I mean, I'm with you. I think that's a part of the story, but the biggest part of the story is Anthony Richardson leaving another game, his 3rd time walking off a field injured. This time it's a shoulder injury. Now they've done x-rays, took pictures of the shoulder. They've come up negative, which, by the way, anybody who takes anything from that, it's just to make sure there aren't broken bones. Like if he had fractured the humeral head or a clavicle or something like that, that's all that an x-ray can rule out. You need to do a thorough assessment, an MRI, in order to see if there's any ligament or tendon damage. It's being looked at by the Twitter doctors as an AC sprain, but it's on his throwing side. And so get used to seeing Gardner Minshew, because until they start protecting him scheme-wise, or until he starts protecting himself because he refuses to slide, this is going to be the Gardner Minshew show in Indianapolis.
All right, Panthers aren't going to win today, but they did get on the board. DJ Chark, a 18-yard touchdown reception from Bryce Young. Bryce, mixed bag today. 19 of 32, 191 yards, couple of touchdowns, couple of bad picks, including a pick 6. Jared Goff, off the charts. 19 of 27, 209, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He's also scored on the ground. All right, we'll continue on here down the stretch. Can we get a game that's going to take us to the limit? Find out. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
NFL Sundays live here.
Snap the car, rolls to his right, pitch pass on the inside to Foster Morrow, who's going to get pushed into the end zone. Foster Morrow, the Jesuit and LSU star, slams the ball to the ground.
It's your NFL Sunday. We're Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. Worn-out tires are a danger to you, your passengers, and other drivers. TireRack.com reminds you to inspect your tires regularly. Grab a quarter, stick it in the tread. If you can see the top of Washington's head, it's time to replace. Go to my page, TireRack.com/sports. Use the Tire Decision Guide to find the right tires for how, what, and where you drive. Choose from the full line of Michelin tires and tread confidently. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
It's The Herd. When Colin Cowherd drops the info, The Herd, you need to listen. Right here.
Stop being afraid of everything. NIL's going to ruin the sport. Transfer portal. Guys miss a bowl game. Conference realignment. Fear, click, fear, click, fear, click. Don't mean to be a wet blanket. I'm not living my life on fear. Now, fear peddled in sports is often, I think, a little bit more authentic. College football's got an old fan base. They love the rivalries. But those games will get huge ratings, and Washington State, USC doesn't. And ratings are truth serum. You can say and peddle whatever you want. Deion Sanders, I don't like it. You're watching it. You're watching it. And that's what drives college football. The TV networks. Sorry, hate to break it to you. Those are massive television events. If college football is a stock, buy it. Lots of it. Sell your Apple. Sell your DocuSign. Sell your Shopify. Sell your IBM. Sell your dividend stocks. Roll, baby, roll. Buy college football. NIL, transfer portal, conference realignment. College football has always been a good business with a huge hole in it. Not enough big games. NFL feels bigger. You only have 32 teams, but it feels like you have 6 or 7 games a weekend that are big. College football goes 130 teams or something like that. And there's like 3 games a weekend that feel big. So I'm just telling you, man, I looked at that schedule in the Big Ten yesterday. I was goosebumps. Husky Stadium at night against Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. You're not watching that football game?
If you're eager to find out what Colin said next, just podcast it by searching The Herd. And as always, you can listen live to Colin Cowherd weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
Yeah! But you found your quarterback, Justin Fields. You got him, right?
No, absolutely not. Justin Fields happens to be in a state of flux for his career the same year Caleb Williams is coming out of college. That's the caveat. I would say it like this. If I asked the room, who would you bet a week's pay on is a great NFL quarterback in 3 years? Justin Fields or Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams.
I think everyone would bet that. So that puts the Bears in a position where if they had the number 1 pick, whether it's theirs or Carolina.
What happens if they don't have the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick, but they do have 2 picks in the first round? Then what do you do? Because let's say the Bears are onto something here. Let's say they play well. Let's say Carolina. Wow.
Oh, sorry. Is my mic on?
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
This show is different.
The Doug Gottlieb Show.
Make him say, make him say,
Ladies and gentlemen.
I think baseball is kind of screwed here, right? Major League Baseball's real playoffs start on Saturday. And it should be awesome. It's October baseball. And I know they've previously competed against football, and recently they've been stomped. But it's even worse now because Thursday night's a real thing. Friday nights now have big-time college football. Saturdays are always college football. Sundays, of course, we know they dominate, and Sunday Night Football is the highest-rated game. And then Monday has a better schedule. Like, you're basically fighting for Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The fact that, I'd love to talk about baseball, but where does it fit in the discussion this weekend when we have OU Texas, when we have Bama A&M, when we have the Niners versus the Cowboys? I think we both know the answer.
The Doug Gottlieb Show. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Fox Sports Radio's lineup looks good. Yeah. Smoking hot.
Hotter than the roof of my mouth after my first bite of pizza.
Not to mention charming.
Hey, snot nose.
See it for yourself.
YouTube sensation.
Love it.
Check out our social media for thirst trap videos.
A thirst trap, I promise you.
And don't be shy.
Hey.
Leave us comments and tag us.
Look at us. We're waving at you right now.
Send me tweets.
It makes me feel good. At and on Fox Sports Radio.
3-2. He struck him out.
This October on Fox and FS1, the American League's biggest stars lead their teams in a fight for the crown. The AL postseason on Fox, FS1, and the Fox Sports app.
Snaps the car, rolls to his right, pitch pass on the inside to Foster Morrow, who's going to get pushed into the end zone. Foster Morrow, the Jesuit and LSU star, slams the ball to the ground as the Saints put the exclamation point here in the fourth quarter.
WWL Saints Radio Network. 34-0. Saints lead at New England. 34-0. So the 35-point margin last week, biggest of Belichick's career as the Patriots coach. This one, a point less. And the Saints have the ball again. So 2.5 minutes to go. Looks like the Saints are just going to run it out. 34-0. Saints at New England. Once again, this is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. We are live from the TireRack.com studios. And guess who just took the lead? That would be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow.
All right, so let me review what happened.
Hang around.
Let me review what happened.
They hang around, and finally they take a lead.
Listen to me. Okay, you had the fumbled punt return, right?
Correct.
So they had a 3rd and goal at the 5-yard line of Pittsburgh with a 2-point lead, and the ball is intercepted. And a Pittsburgh offense that had done nothing in this game, 8 plays, 80-yard drive, and as I predicted, the Steelers have not just the lead, they have the lead 14-10, a minute 17 to go in the fourth quarter.
Listen, I think we can
Steal
say
a game
with great certainty that Matt Canada's job is safe after this monstrous 14-point game for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And frankly, I wouldn't be shocked if we get news of an extension here sometime this week.
Did we not say that Mike Tomlin, this was such a game for them? Now, it's not over yet. Minute 17 to go. Pittsburgh's kicking off right now. But he just is the master of stealing games they have no business winning.
Oh, no.
The Steelers had done nothing in this game. They get the ball back after the interception, 8 plays, 80 yards.
It is a Mike Tomlin special. What he does when he's playing against, and by the way, the best defensive coaches do this, and he's one of them. But what he does when you're playing against a dynamic offense is try to get them away from what they want to do. What does Lamar Jackson and this Baltimore Ravens offense want to do? Run the mess out of the football. He has limited that as best they could. This defense is playing out of their mind today, this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And as a result, Baltimore looks hamstrung. They don't look even close to as strong as they normally do.
All right, guys, we have a big finish in the Texans-Falcons game. Falcons leading the Texans 18-12, but the Texans have a 3rd and 9 at the Atlanta 18-yard line. Texans trying to pull this game out. Desmond Ritter's played very well today for the Falcons. 285 yards passing and a score. C.J. Stroud, 231 yards passing. So where is this game right now? I'm looking.
It's there. All right, it's at break right now. We have a timeout on the field. So
all right,
we'll see
so
what
there we
happens
go.
when it
So we
comes
got that. So we're watching again the Ravens right now, trailing the Steelers 14-10, a minute 11 to go, and the ball is knocked out of Lamar Jackson's hand. It's picked up, and the Steelers have the ball, and the Steelers are going to put this one away.
Fumble recovery after the strip sack. I don't think it was him who knocked the ball out of Lamar's hand. I think it was the opposite defensive end. But number 90 does the Heinz Field leap. And there are terrible towels waving, and the Steelers will kneel on this football. Baltimore only has 2 timeouts, and they will win this game. Who was that? Highsmith?
If you listen to the show, we told you this. Did we not? Did we not tell you this? They were 4-point dogs at home, the Steelers. It just smelled like a perfect opportunity against a division rival for the Steelers to steal a game. And that's what they have done. They have stolen this game.
All that attention on Watt. Really, Highsmith is an amazing edge as well. They've got 2 who are worth their weight in gold over there in Steeltown. You got to love what TJ has been, but Highsmith, awesome too. What do you got, Bo?
You got a Texans touchdown here.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so they have scored on a Stroud pass to Schultz, 18 yards. The extra point would give the Texans a 19-18 lead.
Oh, my gosh. Did you see that move that Schultz put on his defender? So he's lined up in the slot in a bunch set. They got 3 receivers to Stroud's right. He does a head fake like he's going to run a crossing route, and he runs a skinny post, catches it for 6. Unbelievable job on the pitch and catch, and a great route scheme drawn up by Bobby Slowick, who's his first year as an offensive coordinator after working in San Francisco for years with DeMeco Ryans.
All right, and it looks like it's now over. The Colts are going to hang on to beat the Titans 23-16, a day when Zach Moss had 165 yards and 2 scores. Colts doing it without Anthony Richardson, who got hurt shoulder injury. Gardner Minshew getting the job done. So the Colts will come away with a win, and it is a final 23-16. Colts over the Titans. Ryan Tannehill had 264 yards passing for Tennessee. Derrick Henry, though, just 13 carries for 43 yards. Not enough. So the Colts get it done. Again, the Texans extra point is good. Minute 49 to go in that game. We still have games to finish off, folks. Don't you go anywhere. We'll bring you all the latest. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
We are Fox Sports.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu. Because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
Yo, J Balvin here. Verizon just hooked me up with a new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium. How can you get one? By switching to my plan at your Verizon store, get the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro on them. When you trade in any iPhone, any model, any condition, guaranteed. And listen to my new song, Dientes, on your way to get the new iPhone 15 Pro.
Don't miss out. Switch to my plan from Verizon today. It's your Verizon. $999.99, 128 gigabyte only. Device payment purchase or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in or promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR.
FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Hey guys.
Ready? Jason Smith and Mike Harmon are dropping knowledge like this.
Baker Mayfield has been one of the two biggest surprises in the NFL this season because he has been good. He's been accurate, and that's a number one thing. And here's Tampa in a bad division. You think, okay, their defense is pretty good, and maybe they can make a run here and they can win this division. But Mayfield has been accurate, and that's the number one thing, right? Number one thing for him is being able to spread the ball around and hit his receivers. But more importantly, and sometimes this doesn't get looked at as being as important as it is that he is out of the spotlight. And that's a huge thing for Baker Mayfield. Since he came into the league, number one draft pick, he has been someone who says, I'm going to come in as a number one draft pick, and yeah, I got swagger. A lot of guys come in as number one pick in quarterbacks, and they understand, okay, I can't really come in here and just say I'm going to take over the league because I have a lot to learn, and I don't want to make myself a target, and that's generally not how it's done. It's not how you win friends in the locker room. It's not how you win friends that want to play behind you. But he has come in and was never shy right away with voicing his concern about things, getting involved in other players' contract situations. He didn't play very well. He had a couple of points where you thought maybe he would turn it around, but he did not. And he wound up getting let go by the Browns before he even finished his contract as the number one overall pick. He goes to Carolina, and he tries to jump in and learn the playbook way too early. They go to him as a savior, and he's terrible. And here he is on the Tampa Bay Bucs now trying to hold off Kyle Trask in the preseason. And look at what he's done, because now we don't care about Baker Mayfield, right? We talked about Baker Mayfield a lot. He was in the spotlight.
To get the rest of what Jason Smith and Mike Harmon said, podcast it by searching The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. And as always, you can hear The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
Chase Claypool getting traded to the Dolphins is really not that big a deal.
It's huge.
But you would think that Jamar Chase got traded with the way people are reacting.
Yeah, I saw it and just laughed. How fast can we get a quote from everybody involved?
It's insane.
We traded a guy that they gave up a second-round pick for a bag of balls. I guess the fact that they got anything at all is the big win there, but in the grand scheme of things, look, I wish him well. Like, as we always do. Find a better situation. Find someone that'll hug you and tell you you're special. That's all fine and good. Guy obviously didn't work as a member of the Bears. Like, that's what it all comes down to. Be accountable. Show up on time.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Ben Maller, the big dog.
I am the greatest effing clown.
Ben Maller, the man with all the answers.
And anyone who says otherwise is an absolute idiot.
Ben Maller, the After Hours Specialist.
This is the definition of stepping into it.
It's the Ben Maller Show.
So I've got Three Stooges, Alanis Morissette, and Jersey Mike.
Weeknights at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Kaboom! Each week, WWE Friday Night SmackDown is live on Fox. Catch the high-flying superstars as they compete for supremacy in the ring. It's Friday Night SmackDown at 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. And here's what you need to know.
Texans have taken the lead in Atlanta.
CJ looking, firing to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Dalton Schultz! They do it! 18-yard touchdown pass to the tight end.
Texans radio network on the call. They are beating the Falcons 19-18 with less than 1 minute to go in the game, but it is not over. Falcons have the ball, and they're at Houston's 18-yard line. It is 3rd and 2 for the Falcons. 37 seconds left in the game. The Lions all over the Panthers. 42-17 is a score. 2.5 minutes to go in that one. Dolphins crushing the Giants at home. 31-16 with a little over 1 minute to go in the game. Steelers take the lead late in the game against the Ravens. They're up 17-10 with 30 seconds to go. Colts beat the Titans 23-16. Saints dominated the Patriots 34-0. I'm Monty Bolaños.
This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. The play.
How about that second effort to get in the end zone?
The hit. Your team, your game.
You got the pads on that.
It's all broken down right here. Fox Sports Red Zone Radio is now live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio. Here's Steve Hartman and 6-year NFL veteran Rich Ornberger.
All right, so we got a couple of games that are in the books. The Pittsburgh Steelers have defeated the Baltimore Ravens 17-10. What a game that was. And Rich, we are now down to a field goal attempt by the Atlanta Falcons. Your favorite former Charger kicker on the field.
Younghoe Koo.
Younghoe Koo, and he's got a very makeable field goal attempt right now. I think about a 36-yarder. Falcons trailing the Texans by a score of 19-18, officially a 37-yard attempt.
How did you know he was my favorite former Charger kicker?
Yes. He had quite an episode, like so many kickers over the years have had with the Chargers.
What a strange way to also remember remember any player for Chargers.
All right,
kicker.
and and the kick is good.
It's
and
good.
The Falcons have come away with a
flag on the play.
Hold on, they're on the field right now.
On the play.
Hold on,
It's
against Houston. Yeah, it's against Houston, so they're all shaking each other's hand right now.
Wait for it. We haven't got an official word yet. Looks like Artie Smith, head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, said, "Oh no, everybody, everything's fine.
It's all good.
We're good. We won."
And there's Ritter, and he's excited, and he's congratulating everybody.
Yeah, Desmond Ritter, by the way, little bit of, I should say a big-time comeback game for him. He's looked real bad the last 3 weeks. In this game, much, much better. So for the Atlanta Falcons quarterback, especially dueling against a QB who's played as strong as C.J. Stroud over the past 4 weeks, and again, turned in another great performance today. Certainly Stroud wasn't the reason they lost. 20 of 35, 249 through the air, a touchdown, 0 picks. But Desmond Ritter, 28 of 37, 329, a touchdown, 0 picks for him as well.
Falcons moved to 3-2 on the season. By the way, we are broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com, we're going to help get you there. An unmatched selection, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection, over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Well, it's a final, and a week after suffering the worst loss in his 24-year run as the head coach of the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick just suffered his second worst loss. This one ended interestingly. The Patriots had the ball at their own 17-yard line, 4th and 5, and they went for it. Bailey Zappi threw an incomplete pass. Zappi once again replacing the benched Mac Jones.
This is
Saints
not
took a knee and ran out the clock. So 38-3.
Wait, hang on a second.
What?
Why is that a problem?
Well, I didn't say a problem. It's just an interesting ending that you're sort of.
Whether you punt it or you take another shot with your backup quarterback, you're losing this football game. They're kneeling on the ball anyways. But yeah, the Pats, the most interesting statistic, in my opinion, is they've been outscored. The Patriots, the New England Patriots, have been outscored 72-3 in the past 7 days. They played against the Cowboys, lost 38-3 on the road in Dallas, and you say, okay, an exception proves not the rule. Bill Belichick will figure it out. They're going to be hosting a team that's something less than the Cowboys, right?
A team, the Saints, that had scored 4 offensive touchdowns in 4 weeks, the fewest the Saints had scored offensive touchdowns since 1975 to start a season.
And they get beat by a larger margin in Foxborough, 72-3. They've been outscored in the past 2 games.
All right, 34-0 Saints over the Patriots. Patriots are not just 1-4; they're 0-3 at home. Rich, as a member of that organization, take us through this week for the New England Patriots. What is tomorrow? Forget the media. Belichick, I'm sure, is going to have very little to say after this game. What is there to say? Scoreboard says it all. But going into tomorrow, take us through this process for the coaches, for the players under Bill Belichick.
It'll be the most miserable week of their lives. I mean, nothing is right now with the New England Patriots. Nothing is right. They have a ton to fix, both offensively and defensively, because we can't say, oh, well, Mac Jones, this offense, things stagnate. No, because, again, this is a Belichick defense that's given up 72 points in the past 7 days. So there's blame to go around everywhere. The offense has scored 3 points over the past 7 days. They have to get to work in the most feverish way possible because they go on the road next to Las Vegas, which, I mean, if I'm Josh McDaniels and I see a down Patriots team, he has the whole playbook downloaded. He understands what the Patriots are going to do. He knows where his problems are. This could be one of the worst 3-game stretches for New England, and I promise you, Belichick is going to make this week of practice hellish. I remember going on, I believe it was a 2-game losing streak when I was in New England at one point, and everybody was in a terrible mood. And it doesn't improve until you start winning. So this could get super ugly for New England.
Another team that's going to be looking for answers, the New York Giants. They lose to the Dolphins today, 31-16. Miami rolling up 524 yards in total offense. Tua Tagovailoa, 22 of 30, 308, 2 touchdowns, a couple of picks. Tyreek Hill, 8 catches, 181 yards and a score. But to me, it's still about this 2-headed running game of the Dolphins. A-Chain, 11 carries, 151 yards and a score. Mostert, 10 carries, 65 yards and a score. Daniel Jones got benched in this game for his own protection. Tyrod, don't call me Tyrod Taylor, came in 7 sacks of the Giants quarterbacks a week after 11 sacks last week.
Yeah.
That's 18 sacks in 2 weeks.
Can't play football. You just can't play football if you're getting your quarterback hit or sacked that much. And again, sacks are one thing. How about all the QB pressures? How about all the QB hits? How many times is Daniel Jones or any of these quarterbacks in New York picking themselves off the field to execute the next play? I mean, it's constant. You could put trash cans on the offensive line and have better results than what you're seeing out of this Giants offensive line. At least you know you can't trust the trash cans. You fall into this false sense of security as a quarterback if your offensive line has maybe one good series. It's brutal. It's brutal. The Giants are going to fail this season, not because of Daniel Jones, not because he's not worth his $40 million contract, which was like this theme that was played throughout the week in New York media and nationally at times. It's because this offensive line is arguably one of the worst units we've seen since David Carr was a quarterback in Houston.
The Carolina Panthers are going to lose. They trail the Lions by a score of 42-24. This game has never been in doubt. But I will say this for Bryce Young. He just threw his 3rd touchdown pass, short 1-yard toss to Adam Thielen. And he's 25 of 41, 247, 3 touchdowns, couple of picks in this game. And again, I just like the resilience of this young man. It's going to be a process. It's not a good team. He's not surrounded with a lot of talent. Let's put it that way. Not a lot of weapons at his disposal. This has been a one-sided game. The Lions are every bit as good as we thought they were going to be.
Let me say this though about Bryce Young, and in fairness, when you are the first overall pick and your team has traded capital to get that first overall pick, which they did with Chicago, the expectations are insanely high. Because we've seen on bad teams what a great quarterback can do to elevate the situation. Trevor Lawrence went to an absolute dumpster fire of a team, and in year 2 took his team to the postseason.
Yeah, but year 1 was a disaster.
It wasn't his fault. If you look at his
numbers. Well, that's what I'm going to ask you about Bryce Young. Is this his fault?
C.J. Stroud has gone to a team with a rookie head coach, a rookie OC, an injured offensive line, nobody around him on the Texans offense. And they're 2-3 on the season, and he's had a fabulous season so far.
Well, how much is this on Frank Reich with this 0-5 start for the Panthers, only winless team in the league?
Frank Reich has a proven record with quarterbacks new to his system having immediate success. This is on Bryce Young.
Wow. Wait a second.
This is on Bryce Young.
So the Urban Meyer situation with Trevor Lawrence was all on Urban Meyer.
Well, you look at what C.J. Stroud has done in Houston.
I mean, when you say Frank Reich has a proven record as a head coach.
You look at what Anthony Richardson has looked like when healthy. Unfortunately, he's injured again. He has a shoulder injury in Indianapolis. You look at what Justin Herbert did with the Chargers after Game 2. Tyrod Taylor went down and he went in against the Super Bowl winning Chiefs. Look, their special quarterbacks can elevate a team. You look at what Patrick Mahomes did in his first year starting with the Kansas City Chiefs. You look at what, give me another one. You look at what, I'll get another one eventually. Talented quarterbacks can elevate a bad roster. Bryce Young isn't talented, not yet at this level. Trevor Lawrence, by the way, he gave off Peyton Manning vibes when he came in the door at Jacksonville. It didn't look great, but you saw that with a better set of circumstances, it would look better. Urban Meyer was a mess. Frank Reich, I mean, he's been a great QB whisperer for several quarterbacks, whether it was reconstruction projects or rookies. He's had a great record with QBs. This is on Bryce Young.
He got the quarterback he wanted. He got the quarterback he wanted.
Are we sure?
Absolutely we are, because he said he got the quarterback he wanted.
Oh, and what is he supposed to say? Yeah, I didn't want the guy, but the GM really twisted my arm and I had less control because I just got the job. Steve, we don't know if this is the quarterback he wanted.
Really?
You're
so
speculating.
You believe that Frank Reich had a choice of C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, or Bryce Young. He enthusiastically said, we got the right guy.
I have no idea what he said when doors are closed. My point is, neither do you.
Okay.
But to further the point I already made, Jalen Hurts is another quarterback, steps into a Philadelphia Eagles team, and he turns the program around. Special quarterbacks elevate programs. Bryce Young is not special.
By the way, speaking of special quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts has got the Eagles on the move to open up this game against the Rams. 5 of 6, 51 yards passing already, and they are deep into Rams territory. Eagles trying to prove to everybody they have a second goal right now at the Rams 5-yard line. Good news for the Rams, of course, is the fact that Cooper Kupp will be back, with Puka Nacua, of course, being the talk of the league, setting all kinds of rookie records in his first 4 games. So check this out right now, Rich. 2nd and goal. The Eagles are running the ball and going nowhere. Yeah, that's a little tough to run into the middle of that defensive front of the Rams.
Yeah.
So they got 3rd and goal right now. All right, so we got this game underway. Also, the Bengals looking for answers. They're on the road against the Cardinals. Bengals moving on their opening drive.
Yeah, they're getting Jamar Chase involved, and this is exactly the way how. You wanna have a high percentage throw to a receiver when he gets a ball in his hands. He's outstanding. Short slant there, good for a first down. Throw it that way to one all day long, and you're going to have a lot easier of a time completing passes and getting big explosive plays.
All right, 7 games in the books already today. 1 in London, 6 just completed, and we got 2 on tap. Waiting for the start of these 2 games, we got touchdown Eagles. Touchdown Eagles.
Who got that? Goddard? Yeah, Dallas Goddard in the end zone. Jalen Hurts finds him. Again, another guy, 2nd rounder, Jalen Hurts. Comes into an Eagles situation as a starter, changes a whole culture. Special QBs do that.
There's no let up. Much more coming up. This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio.
Did you miss this?
It's game day now.
Kick is away. It is perfect. Younghoe Koo kicks the game winner.
Big rush. And the ball is out. Got it. And the Steelers pick it up. TJ Watt and Highsmith, and you can say good night, Raven.
It's your NFL Sunday. We're Fox Sports Radio.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day, and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry, with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-529-2856. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-529-2856. That's 800-529-2856 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. 800-529-2856.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with the healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Complete awesomeness. The man we turn to when life hits the fan.
I'll take that. Yeah.
He doesn't ask for anything in return.
Give me some dab. Yeah.
He just wants to talk about sports.
Oh, LeBron.
Because Dan Patrick lives and breathes sports. Dan Patrick is sports.
Wow, that seems a little extreme.
And other things.
Shut up.
It's the Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
They have a lot of fun things that go on in the morning.
This is the show that has 2 pros and a cup of Joe.
Who is Joe?
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox.
Oh, LeVar, you won the Butkus Award as well, too, in 1999. How about that?
I am a Butkus Award winner.
It's awesome. It's got to be cool.
It's quite an honor, and it's not just quite an honor now because of his passing, but I mean it's quite an honor because all the things that you heard Q say. I mean he's a stud, and he was the gold standard and still continues to be the gold standard. I mean, as far removed as people may be from ever having seen him play, I think the way he played the game has vibrated through time. It's lasted the test of time. he's never become an irrelevant figure, to what football represents. I mean, if you were to have a picture of, what tough, hard-nosed football looks like, and it were to be personified in a player, there'd be a couple players that would come to mind, and one of the first names that would always be mentioned in those sentences would be Dick Butkus. So for me, I know as a former award winner and someone who still represents, that award and what it represents, I felt like I spoke for us all when I put my message out that, we'll continue to carry on his legacy. Every one of us that wins that trophy and represents what he has ultimately represented. I mean, it's
To get the rest of LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox, podcast by searching Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Listen to Two Pros and a Cup of Joe weekdays from 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Doug Gottlieb. He was an athlete.
I am a former college basketball player, former professional player.
But he never pulls the player card.
It's about the sport.
He values discussion, especially when he's talking.
I talk, you listen.
He's Doug Gottlieb.
I'm a geek.
Say his name.
Oh, Doug.
It's Doug Gottlieb.
The champ is here.
That's right. It's the Doug Gottlieb Show.
You're welcome, America.
Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. It's amazing.
Amazing.
The things that we do for you on a daily.
Let's go, Mark.
From the mornings.
It's Two Pros and a Cup of Joe, Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah. To the late nights.
They call me Moneyball Mallard. I'm in a different part of the galaxy.
Yeah. We never stop.
They know they can't stop it.
We're always on.
We do this on a daily basis.
And this amazing content is all for you on Fox Sports Radio. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
We should be victorious in our warfare that we are engaged.
Hurts into a long count. He's back. He's looking. He fires. And it is complete for a touchdown to Dallas Goedert.
94 WIP Eagles Radio Network. And the Eagles have an early 7-0 lead on the road against the Rams. Rams on the move, though. Cooper Kupp caught a pass, so they're down to the Eagles' 31-yard line. Once again, Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. We are live from the TireRack.com studios. Also, the Bengals getting on the board on a Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase touchdown pass. So the Bengals up 7-0 early on the road against the Cardinals. Cardinals look like they're going to have to punt right now. Soon we're going to get the kickoff of the Jets, Broncos, Chiefs, and Vikings. By the way, do we know yet if Taylor Swift will be at this game? I mean,
Great
this game
question.
is going to kick off here in about 3 minutes. Nobody cares about anything else in the NFL except for the whereabouts of Taylor Swift. Monsi, do we have Monsi again, our resident Swiftie? Maybe she can give us an update. Any update, any sightings at all of Taylor Swift anywhere near this Chiefs-Vikings game in Minnesota?
Not yet.
Okay.
Now, wouldn't we know by now if she's going to be there?
As the real Taylor Swift fan in this building right now, Taylor Swift's private jet has landed in Minnesota.
She is going to be at this game?
Per flight tracker.
Did you just check?
I told you guys. Wait,
Is this real or are you joking?
It's very real. I'm looking at it right now.
Did I tell you guys? I love love. And this is a love story. Baby, just say yes. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, for anybody out there who's saying, oh my gosh, this is just a manufactured entity of big media and the NFL and the conglomeration of networks that make up our viewing pleasure week to week with the soap opera of players on the field finally interlinking arms with a pop culture superstar. I say nay.
All right, I'm trying to figure out her schedule.
She got the private jet. She's telling the driver, don't stop for any red lights. We got to be there.
Well, they're going to have to giddy up right now.
And by the way, did you see the new conspiracy theory about all this?
No.
Okay. So Taylor Swift, who, by the way, has a spotless image throughout.
Not really.
Throughout the majority of her, the things that have happened with her.
Away because
Totally.
she writes music about all of her breakups.
But again, she's the hero in that story. She comes through the other side spotless. The only time that she's had any issue is when you used to Google Taylor Swift jets. What you would see is the CO2 emissions of her private jet outpaces the normal American citizen by tenfold.
She's poisoning the planet.
But she goes to one New York Jets game. If you type in Taylor Swift jet, all you see is her in the suite with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and Blake Lively. You don't see a single CO2
All right, so
story.
I'm a little curious. Now, again, Monsi, this tour that she did, this record-setting tour,
she's
is
still
that
doing
over?
it. No,
she's still
she's
doing
on a
it.
break. She's going to head internationally now.
Okay, and
that's
how
why
long
she
of a
can't
break?
do the Super Bowl because she's going to be, I think, in China.
But she's available. I mean, when she's
That's
not
pronounced
touring,
China.
I just
what is she just sitting around her place eating bonbons? What's going on
What
here?
do you mean